podcast where we talk all things art, culture, and entertainment, but more specifically pop culture entertainment. I'm your regular host, Will, and with me I have my regular co-host, Aaron. Say what's up, Aaron.
What's up, people? It's good to be back. It's been too long.
It's been too long. We missed a couple things here and there.
Just a few, just a couple.
Just a few, maybe like The Boys and Invincible and.
I forgot. Have we not talked about The Boys or Invincible?
No, we haven't.
Wow,
we'll have to do a whole separate one for those two.
Jeez, man,
that's gonna be a whole another couple hours. But yeah, man, how are you doing? How's life treating you?
Life is good, man. Life is good. Just went through some major shifts, maybe major changes in my life. You know, had my fam move to Ohio. I'm still here in Cali, and you know, I'm working 2 jobs right now. One of them I really love, and yeah, I could really say that I'm blessed right now. Like things are going up, bro. How about you? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm about to actually make probably one of those big transitions. Move about an hour out from home, be closer to my partner, just because things happen to work out in a positive way. So we'll see how that goes, at least for couple months, see if it extends to longer than that. But yeah, good. I'm keeping up with my 2 jobs as well, but they're, you know, trying to take on more time so that I can have more funds and get these more bills handled.
Yeah, adulting
but otherwise,
mother, bro.
It is. Like, shit's real. But just getting everything packed up, going through old totes and toys and clothes and figuring out how to downsize and whatnot. But otherwise, life's good. You know, relationship's good. Preparing for, got another wedding in about 4 weeks after. So, but yeah, things are good. Okay, so we got a few topics today, and that's gonna give us, you know, plenty to discuss for a good amount of time. The first one we wanted to start with, I guess, going in reverse release order. That's how we'll describe it, not what we actually described it as before we hopped on here. But Umbrella Academy finished its run earlier this month with its season 4, 6 episodes. And you and friend Nina had some pretty interesting thoughts. So I guess full spoilers for season 4 and the rest of Umbrella Academy. But how did you feel towards the show? Because I was a little late. I was out and about, so I didn't get to catch it when it initially dropped.
So, listen.
You've been holding this in for about a week.
So I watched this show on the YouTube channel Monreal Rejects with my friend Greg, and we went into it. You know, I rewatched the first. I tried to rewatch the first season, but didn't have enough time, so I just binged the 3rd season. And you know, I've in retrospect really appreciate the 3rd season a lot more. It's still a lot of fun. It's a lot of wins. It's still very much about the characters, and that's like the first and foremost, most important thing. And I think this shows the epitome of great characters meeting an interesting plot.
Mm-hmm.
And the show ends, or that season ends, with them all losing their powers, reset in a new reality.
Yeah. And
them going off their separate ways. With 2 cliffhangers. 1, not knowing where Sloane, Luther's love interest, was. And 2, Ben in Korea on a subway. And
oh my God. Why did... Okay. I completely forgot. Jesus Christ.
So the season ends with that.
That alluding to my I'm so sorry. That totally messed up my thoughts. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
So it ends that way, and then we start season 4, and you know, it's 6 years later. We do a major time jump, and then the first, I want to say like maybe 10 minutes, no one for the Umbrella Academy is in this thing. I'm just like sitting there. I'm like, okay, that's cool. We got Nick Offerman, we got his wife. But I'm like, bro, we only got 6 episodes. Like, where are our characters at? We finally get to see them. And, you know, it's a little bit more subtle, a little bit more grounded. And you know, the first episode didn't get me too excited because they don't get their powers to the very end. We don't get to see them actually have their powers until
Mm-hmm.
episode 2. But yeah, we're in this new reality for some, and also you have to remember at the end of the season or all of season 3, right? It was about Allison. She was kind of Loki the villain of that season, or one of them, but she wanted her man back. She missed her man from the 1960s, and
Yep.
she missed her daughter.
Yep.
When we start the
Which
season,
that's a constant throughout the whole series. She
yeah,
want
she
that
wants
baby
her.
to be around.
She wants that baby to be around. Now the baby's finally around, but the husband is nowhere to be seen. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. We're not mentioning him. And then the next episode, they just offhandedly say, yeah, ever since he left you. I'm like, he left you? What do you mean he left you? He was pining over this man all season. He saw the ghost
She
visions of this
literally
man.
fought racism for him.
Exactly. And we're just gonna write him off like he doesn't matter? Like that was the first
Okay.
signs of worries to come. But also I'm sitting there, episode 1, episode
Dog,
2.
you fucked me up with the whole Sloane thing. I forgot about Sloane.
Exactly. I was like, bro, where the fuck is Sloane?
Oh no. Oh no.
Where is
they,
this woman?
they were banking on people like me who just forgot. It's like, well, we didn't see her, so she must not have been important. No, she was pretty important. I do remember that.
She was literally had a whole episode dedicated to them getting married in the last season. They had a whole season long love arc for this man just so he doesn't fuck his sister, and we just get rid of her.
We'll get back to the sister fucking thing just because in comparison to something that happens later. But sorry, go ahead.
Oh man,
you say it,
brother. So we doing that. You know, Klaus he's afraid of germs. He's afraid of danger. All that shit, right?
Yeah.
And everyone else is having their different lives, and we see Lila and Diego now have a family. Even though we don't know any of these kids' names other than Grace, which was named after the mother. That I'm sure Diego named her Grace because that was based off the robot mother. But they have 3 kids that we don't see, and then Five's working for this organization. He's working for the CIA.
Yeah.
But ultimately, they just do a lot of things that ultimately don't lead anywhere. Like they just like, okay, we know how we want to end the show, but we just don't know all the shit how we want to get there. So we're gonna give Klaus an entire arc that means nothing and plays no part into the plot. Because we're just sitting there watching the episode and like, okay, Klaus doesn't have his powers. Like, why didn't he get his powers when everyone else got their powers? I don't know. Okay, well, we're gonna save it for this dramatic moment. We think Klaus is gonna die.
Well, I will say
ultimately doesn't lead to anything.
They did explain why he chose not to get him. Because so it's like his personality basically did like a whole 180.
Yeah.
With him being sober throughout. So it does have a reason and an explanation, but the arc they do, not even arc, the story they give him after that kind of sets it deals with something that wasn't like a big focus, but is technically an issue that you could bring up from before.
Here's the thing though about this show. Klaus, for the past 4 seasons, is usually having some sort of arc by himself, revolving either spirituality or drugs or his relationship to death and his father or what have you, right?
Yeah, it's like his grieving and his like weird skittish, his like just kind of disassociation with like life and death and everything being.
But usually, his solo arcs end up wrapping around and being relevant to the plot.
Yeah.
But that was not the case this season.
No.
He just died over and over again, got sold into sex trafficking, and then he was stuck in a casket, and then him and his sister reunited, and then they have to show up for the finale to save the world. I was like, what was the point of this B-plot? This man was sober, we got him back on drugs just to have him do some weird act.
Well, and the weird thing was just like, which is like, and they kind of one-footed out about it, because it's like, because he had gotten the drugs again, but he doesn't like focus on it. I'm like, so I guess kind of they even had that whole big dramatic sequence of him like stealing the TV and facing Allison's daughter and being really embarrassed about it. And like the personality switch starts to come out, and then he, gets into the sex trafficking and gets out, and like he feels the drug fall off his leg, but he never goes back for it. So it's like it seems like they were going to set up something with him relapsing, but he actually kind of doesn't really.
Well, no, he does relapse because the guy keeps
Well, no,
giving
he
him
does
drugs.
initially, but I mean, like at the end after Allison saves him, like he doesn't like go back in for the drugs that fell out in the casket.
Because they don't have time to deal with the arc because they established shit,
I mean, I
and
know because
then
it's 6 episodes instead of 10, which I don't know why,
I
but
feel
I
like
could definitely
it was a
feel it. Like I felt it like stretched the episodes, but like cut down, like stretched the length, but
it was a
cut down the
mandate.
number.
It was a Netflix mandate. Like we're gonna give you a final season, but we're only gonna give you 6 episodes to tell
Oh
it.
yeah, it had to be because you went from 3 seasons of 10 to suddenly one of 6, and it doesn't
Which
seem like a case of like, oh, we made, we had the same budget in the same amount of time. It's like, no, this seems it. Yeah, it feels like a corporate mandate, and you can like they're even. It's just the pacing is weird because it's like it's fast and slow at the same time at points. Where it's like the episodes are like long, like upwards of an hour or longer. Like I remember checking one runtime and it was like an hour 10. I'm like, oh god. Like, but at the same time, it's like there are moments where it just kind of like Klaus's storyline. It kind of muddles about because it's
it
like
just
it,
kind of happens because they don't know what to do with the
yeah,
character.
yeah, which is weird because it's like it's like, oh, we put him on the. It's like, well, we killed him just to have a way for him to get his powers back. Which is like, again, I don't mind that
And what does he do with his
explicitly.
powers? What does he do with his powers? He flies and saves
Yeah.
Luther, and that's it.
Yep.
In one scene.
Yep. And like it answers some of the questions I had, but like by the time we get to the end and thinking about like what it solves in particular, how did all of this start in the first place? I'm like, oh, well then, fuck you, Papa Hargreaves. Like,
Okay. Answer some of the questions you have. Where does the subway come from? Who invented the universe? Why is Jennifer in a squid? Where the fuck is Sloane? Where all of these questions? What
I mean, no,
happened to the
I
bed
just
in
said answered
Korea?
all the questions. It just the question it answered for me that I had. I'm like, I wonder if they're going to explain where their powers came from, and it did. It answered
I
that.
think we already knew. I think it was like came from the marigold. We saw him like we saw the particles go into the bombs in season 1, and then we saw Hargraves on some alien planet that we never explained as his wife is dying, and they released the particles.
Oh, okay. So I guess I had just forgotten that or missed that detail. But I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, it is all your fault. Like all this bullshit wouldn't have happened if you just like wouldn't have let your wife go. Which that was the one I thought that you were gonna really take issue with was the wife being the heel who could also like skinwalk, apparently.
Well, I think the skinwalking thing is something that was established earlier in the show because Hargraves is essentially skinwalking because he's an alien wearing human skin. Because you remember in season
Oh,
2,
that's right.
he takes his face off and he has like a alien ass face under there. But we don't get to explore that at all because the show doesn't have time to really go into that. And it's unfortunate because I feel like Elliot Page was giving a strong performance when he was giving
But he also
his
didn't really have much to
speech.
do either.
No, he didn't have much to
Like
do either.
I did like his speech. He did good with his speech, and with like the espionage and everything. Well, he had attempted to. Um, okay. Do you want to? I hope I didn't interrupt your thought. Sorry. Were you? Okay. Do you want to talk about the really weird one?
The big ass love triangle elephant in the room. Yeah, we can talk about
Yes.
that shit. What the fuck was that?
Between five. Why?
Why the fuck do we introduce the love triangle in the
I have.
penultimate episode of the series finale
I don't
and
know.
make it your brother's sister or your brother's
I
wife? What the actual fuck?
I don't know. And like I saw it coming, like not as early because it's like when it got to the obvious setup. Like at first, I'm like, okay, they're both in the same place at the same time. It makes sense that they would get along. And then like as they keep hanging out and getting closer, like, hey, the two of us will go on this train, and try to find the real timeline. I'm like, okay, interesting. And then it kept showing them getting into hijinks. I'm like, you're not gonna put them together, are you? I mean, you can because he's like 21, 22, but he still looks 15,
Right.
you know? And
Exactly.
she does not. And she is also married. That's
To your
that's
brother.
to your brother. That's unusual. But then I had to stop and think. Like on the one hand, yeah, it made me very uncomfortable, and they tried to execute it. They tried to push the chemistry. I don't think it ever 100% got believable. Not for the actor's lack of trying, but like when I saw them kiss, I'm like, there is no salt or seasoning on that kiss at all, whatsoever. There was no sauce on that. It was dry. It was bone
They have
dry.
they have uh, chemistry. They have
Yeah,
chemistry.
like
They ain't got no chem chem. They ain't
yeah, it's
cooking.
like them being friends makes sense because they're both like sarcastic assholes. That would make sense for them as like friends that would get along. I could see that. Them as like lovers, especially with Five technically being like this old withered soul who's just like a sarcastic dickhead who thinks he knows everything. And most of the time he is right. And then Lila who has all this power and is really like searching for freedom and a way out, it just seems like a match made in hell. But I also kind of let it go because I'm like, well, this is the show that in the first season had like pseudo incest. That doesn't make it right, but I can't
Fair.
I can't
I mean,
say
no,
too much
no.
because
I feel like
because I'm
that
like
is
I'm like
different.
that's also fucking weird too. So it doesn't make it better. But I was like, okay, it's not the weirdest thing they've done. They came out the gate a swinging with weird shit.
We came up the gate with pseudo incest.
Yeah, I'm like that's pretty hard to top, but you're pushing it.
I don't think it was necessarily like weird per se. I just think it was like, why are we doing this? Because
Well,
it
I mean,
just didn't make sense for them to want to even go that route.
well, yeah, and it just optically looked like no disrespect to Five's actor. He's a really really talented actor. I give him props.
Oh
But
yeah,
and Lila's actress too. But also like why for what? Like I think the point was like to get the reaction from Allison and Luther on the couch next to each other when it's like, "Were you sleeping with my wife?" And they're like, "Ooh, ah." It's like you two shut the fuck up. In particular,
right.
I know you two are talking. I feel like, "Oh no, Five, that's so bad. Diego, don't beat his ass." It's like you two weren't having googly eyes not a couple years back, not 7 years back, trying to
Not
be like,
right.
I wish we weren't related. Oh, we're so bad. We shouldn't do this. Like you aren't the weirdest ones in the room.
Well, technically, their love. Also, she sexually assaulted him in the last season because she rumored him to get him to mount her on a pool table.
Yeah,
She's like,
that's
"I wish
weird.
he wanted me," and then
Very weirdo behavior. Very
very weird. And they
strange.
never address it again
Very unusual.
because he's about to go to see Sloane. He's like, "Nah, I want you to fuck me," and then out of his will, he goes to do that. I'm like, this is like entering that weird Wonder Woman 84 type of shit.
Fuck a ghost in my in a new man's body. Like,
I was
yeah,
like, what are we doing?
it just added like here's the thing, Five and Diego already have natural tension with each other as brothers. I feel like you didn't have to throw like I feel like the narrative of Diego and Lila being parents to three for some odd reason is like enough as is of being like, oh, it's stressful and they're trying to like find their identities without their powers, and especially now as parents and a dysfunctional married couple. That it's I think the biggest flaw of the season is that like ultimately no one really grows. Like their powers they evolve, but outside of that, the characters don't really grow beyond where they were at the end of season three.
And some of
Other
them
than
regressed.
yeah, up to the point like Ben's a total asshole this whole season. But then again, it's like it's not their Ben, it's a Ben from another reality. I know that, but like
He was a bigger asshole last season.
yeah, it's just I think what will probably leave some people dissatisfied is that like they never fully come around to being a feeling like a family that really like they look out for each other in so much, but like the same way the family from Empire looks out for each other, where it's like, yeah, I love you to death, but I hate the rest of the world. So it's like
Right.
I don't like you, but I hate everybody else that tries to hurt you. So it's just like it's a dysfunctional family, but it's like dysfunction for dysfunction's sake versus them actually trying to connect. Especially like when Allison and uh who's my boy? The one that was in Alaska, the one that got kidnapped. White violin.
Oh, Elliot.
Yeah, when Elliot Page's Victor. So in like Victor and is talking to Allison, he's like, "Look, we don't have to be friends, like, but we are gonna always be family." I'm just like, why can't y'all work through your shit? Didn't you try to kill her like 8 years ago? Remember that where you almost
Right.
knocked her powers out because you cut her throat?
In the first, well, I guess it varies for the different characters. Because season two, they were all landed in the '60s at different times. Some of them like a
Oh
year, other
yeah,
ones like in days. But like for some of them, between seasons one and three, it's only been like a month between what happened because like each one is like
it's
10
true.
days. But yeah, and it's sad to see, man, that none of them actually got the chance to really grow. Luther is such a stagnant character throughout the entire season.
Yeah,
Doesn't
pretty
get
much.
shit to do.
He
He,
he he's a stripper.
he wants his family to be together.
Yeah, and
He's a
he
goofball. He
fights.
protects his family, and
He
then he
I think he
fights
got
and protects
dumber
his family.
actually over the seasons too. If you notice that, he kind of got dumb because initially he was like the leader. He was really competent,
In
for the
season one,
most
he's
part.
very competent.
Yeah, he
And
had
in
pretty good
seasons
ideas, but
two and
then
three,
by
they made him
four,
dumb.
he's more like comic relief, which it's not that like his actor plays it well, but I'm just like, even when I was watching, I'm just like, man, weren't you like the leader of the crew until five came back? What? Like he always had a plan, or at least he was always trying to like have a mission. But by the end, he was just kind of a member of the team.
Right. No, I wholeheartedly agree. He's a member of the team by the time we get to that point. It's just sad to see where the show went, man. Also, they were inconsistent as hell with their powers. I don't know if did you notice that?
Probably
So
that. So their powers
Allison,
like evolved in different ways too. Because Allison's evolved to where she didn't. She just became telekinetic,
because she's supposed to be, yeah, her power in season one, two, and three was like, I have a rumor that you did this, and then like
which is
mind
a
control.
dope power. And
The season four, she didn't even have to say it; they just did it.
yeah, she
And
just
now
became. She turned into
she
Jean Grey.
low key, kind of, yeah, because she's now manipulating matter and like
Yeah,
moving shit with her mind now. So I'm like,
yeah,
okay, I guess that's they didn't establish that, but sure, yeah, I guess she can do that now. And then Lila now has two powers. She has the
the
copycat
laser
and the
eyes.
laser beams, and
Yeah,
then Victor's power now looks like Harlan's power rather than like that them turning white how they did
yeah. It turns
before.
yellow, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
What
So I'm
was
like,
what changed with uh not Luther? I don't think anything changed with Luther's power or
well, that's the
Diego's.
problem. That's the problem with Luther is the fact that him having the ape body wasn't part of his powers. That was an
No, that was a
experiment his dad
surgical
did.
thing.
Exactly, but for some reason
Oh,
he got his
that's
ape body
weird.
back.
Yeah, why did the ape body come back? Was
It made no damn sense
yeah,
for
that
him to
is
have the
weird.
fucking body back.
Diego's was the same, which that one could have
Pretty
evolved,
much.
but it didn't.
Also, why the
It,
fuck did no one in the CIA have guns when they were up there fucking up the CIA? That made no goddamn sense.
I
They're all
don't
just.
know. You kind of you got me there.
Also, five the most smart, perceptive person in that team of the Umbrella Academy. And he didn't notice a fucking upside down umbrella on his boss's wrist of the
Right,
organization that
because
he's out here looking for or out
like
here spying on.
when they're on the couch talking, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we discovered like a coup within the CIA. Got one up on you, Five." And I thought Five was going to be like, "Yeah, I already knew. I was doing reconnaissance," but he didn't say anything. I'm like, "So wait, he didn't know? Wait, you're like the most observant of the group, and you
which is
didn't know.
wild, which is insane to me. God, man, and then like I feel like did Allison even get anything to do this year other than try to find Klaus?
I mean, she had her kid, and I guess we got to see that relationship where they're fine and they get along. She seems like a mom that's trying her best.
Yeah,
But
like,
you mentioning
but
that
it's
her
not
husband
compelling
walked
it.
out on her very much annoys me now. Like
Off screen.
she solved racism to be with this man, and he left. Ain't no fucking way. No,
You literally plucked him out of the '60s to be with you in modern day, and he just left off screen.
no self-respecting black man would do that. Well, wait, he wasn't in season 3, was he?
He was in season three in
Okay,
like her in flashbacks and in her mind.
okay,
So the actor showed up in season three.
okay.
But yeah, they're just like, well, fuck
Yeah,
you for season
it's
four.
kind of
We ain't
bullshit.
paying you. It really is. I'm like, okay, you're just out here roaming in this new time displaced life.
But
Does he
but
remember the
also
events of the '60s?
I also remember just like the general aesthetic at the finale of 3, especially because they show it at the start of season 4, and then how season 4 looks were like mad different. Because like the way season 3 ends very much gives like this weird kind of cyberpunky vibe, especially when it like goes up to see Hargreaves and his wife like overlooking the city, and then now they're in a mansion.
Yeah, which
I
is
mean, I get things
disappointing.
can change in like 6 years because there's a 6 year time gap, but like how it sets up tone wise is very different. And then you also mentioning like Ben, I'm like, oh shit. The
Also, can we talk about Ben and Jennifer real quick? And them being the apocalypse and the fucking giant kaiju fucking Last of Us monster thing they fucking become.
it didn't really. You want to talk about Ben and Jen or Gene and Gene first?
We could talk about we'll hold off on Bennifer. We can talk about Gene and Gene.
So okay, I think I like the actors more than the characters because they're like that's
Married
a
in real
real.
life.
Yeah, like they're a couple in real life, so it's like anytime I see that, because I know I keep forgetting their names. I just remember them as Ron and Tammy from Parks and Rec. But it's like they're funny actors, so I really like the actors. So when I saw they were in it as like the villains, apparently I'm like, oh, well that's quirky, but that's a good pair to pick. Like they have good natural chemistry, and like it had an interesting kind of mystery at the beginning of them killing the guy and like underground, and they're running this secret society that is trying to have showcase proof of the timelines converging. I'm like, okay, that's a pretty interesting premise. And then uh Hargreaves Abigail kind of comes back around and skin walks and kills him and takes him over through David Cross, and it's kind of busy. I don't know. It was a good start. I like where it started.
They didn't do shit with those characters, bro. They really didn't amount to anything. Because you
They
think
were
they're gonna be the new Hazel
they
and
were
Cha
setting it
Cha.
up. It did this. like like they had a cool introduction, an interesting like motivation where it's like we want to that we're gonna push forward the cleansing so that there can only be like true timeline. It's the Loki premise basically. It's like we want to purge all the bad ones, get back to the one true timeline. I'm like, okay, that's a pretty good premise for a show like this. It's a unique like motivation where it's like we want to bring about essentially the end of the multiverse.
And they never really become a true threat. Because like, okay, they
Mm,
intercept them in episode two, and they hold Jennifer in episode three.
yeah.
And then they're just like, what? Just waiting for the cleanse to happen because Ben and Jennifer got together. I was like, that seems like just such a lazy and lame direction to take that.
Well, and
Like,
then like David Cross's character, come to think of it, we don't get the real any real backstory on him.
because
Uh,
he's her, because he's
uh,
Hargreaves' wife,
it doesn't make it
who
much
we still
better.
don't get, who we still don't get background on.
But I mean, we still don't know who that motherfucker was originally because it's very much implied that like he was somebody before he was her.
Well, I think from the beginning of the season, the first time Umbrella Academy meets him, it's her. So we don't even
Oh,
ever
okay.
even get to meet the real him because
She just made she just
she
made
had
a
the
she
she
made
had
a
the
skink suit for
marigolds.
him.
Well, I
Oh,
think
that's
she
right.
killed somebody and then was impersonating him. But yeah, she just happened to have the box with the marigold and all the stuff they would need to cause the
Yeah.
cleanse. Which also doesn't make any fucking sense that Hargraves, because I said it when I was watching it. I was like, okay, the Ringo and Marigold can't meet, otherwise it's this chemical reaction that's going to kill the world. Motherfucker, these motherfuckers didn't have their powers for 6 years, and she was just protected in a small town. There was no danger to be had. Like
Yeah.
from Hargrave's perspective, I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Why wait 6 years if to enact your plan to get? Because you have to, on the off chance that they take their powers back,
Yeah, the
on the
6
off
years
chance
didn't
they
really
happen to,
matter.
it really didn't fucking matter.
It is
And
kind
then
of yeah, it's kind of nebulous. Um
And then why did Hargreaves not just kill this chick if he was so concerned with her being like this threat? And then she leaves this life that she's known since she was a kid for this guy she met 2 seconds ago in 2.5 seconds without questioning it. Or I feel like Jennifer was a non-character. I feel like she didn't really have like
no, no,
a
she was definitely
personality.
a plot device like where it and I part of what I was thinking I'm like, "Oh, is Jennifer like an alternate version of Ben and that's why they're so drawn to each other?" No, she's just a girl in a
That would have
squid
been
from
cool.
a timeline.
That would
Like
have been cool.
because
I could have thought
I'm like, "Oh
better.
shit, they got like two Asian actors that are like having this,
They also had
Spider-Man and
no.
Silk relationship."
They also didn't really have great chemistry either.
Because it wasn't even chemistry. They were forced together by the plot, where it's just like, I can't stop thinking about you. We need to connect and
But
have
but
sex.
exactly. But the thing is, like, if you're gonna have two characters do that, be these two characters that realize they want to ravage each other, like, and have this like draw, you have to believe that they're just like drawn to each other magnetically. You have to have two like on fire chemistry, and
Well,
I didn't really
and
feel that.
it's not even that I don't think the actors could pull it off. I don't think they believed it either. Just kind of
Mm.
like with Lila and Five. Like I definitely think those are actors that could put. I think Ben and Jennifer probably have more chemistry than Lila and Five.
I feel like Love and Five because they have 3 seasons worth of working together. I don't know because I feel like Vital and Five do have chemistry. I just didn't want to see
Okay,
them
I
have
mean
that.
explicitly romantic chemistry, not general chemistry.
Okay,
General
fair.
chemistry, yes, I'll agree with you. They're both cynics, but and sarcastic. But it's just like if we're talking just this season, romantic chemistry explicitly, I think Ben and Jennifer, I believe slightly more than Lila and Five.
Yeah, when she started throwing the strawberries at her, I'm like, don't do this. We
Right.
don't. We don't need to go here.
I was thinking it. I was thinking it too. It's like she threw the strawberries. It's like, you keep doing that, you're gonna waste all the good strawberries. I'm like, I mean, we don't have to do this. we can we can back away from this. And then she starts going closer, like, we really don't
You
have to.
don't. You can turn around.
You
You.
you can stop. You can just pick them up off the ground and be like, haha, that's so crazy.
Also, you know what else made
It's
me
just like
mad?
not dude.
You so crazy. That's wild.
It's like, ha ha, wow, that's crazy. But you're married to my brother. that
Ah,
woo.
you almost got me. Ah.
But you're married. You're
Oh,
married
oh,
and a mom. Married to my brother and a mom. And I'm 75 years old. I
you
fucked a
try to kiss.
lamp. Like,
Ooh, can't kiss me. Ooh, you missed.
she tried to throw a strawberry. Ooh, almost got me.
You know what else made me mad though? The fact that their whole reason for going on the train was to go to an alternate timeline and stop the Jennifer incident from happening.
And they never
But
got
then
there.
they never even got there. So they just failed and then came back.
They're gone for 7 years. And like, well, shit, we didn't find our way back. It's like because I was thinking that too when they finally got back to the timeline of the main narrative. I'm like, hey, they never really did find that other dimension that they were looking for. He found that book, held on to it for 6 months, and said, "Fuck it, let's just go home."
Right, I'm done. I'm tired. I'm like,
Well,
damn,
but
what
it
is the
also
point?
like it seems weird as a setup to have them have this relationship, and then she's like, um, how long have you had that? And he's like, 6 months. And she just immediately starts packing her shit as soon as he
Right.
realizes they have a way to go back home. And it's like, well, y'all are changing clothes, so clearly you've been showering and like eating decently and having
Also,
sex. And then
and
she
you
gets
think
back and is like, oh no, I did a naughty. I shouldn't have slept with my brother's, with my husband's brother.
I thought I didn't like it conceptually, but I think I would have been more okay with it if it wasn't something they introduced in the penultimate episode of the entire series.
Was it the
Like,
second last episode?
it was the second to last episode they did this. The second to last
I thought it
episode
was
of
like
the
episode
fucking
3 or 4. But
no,
that's how long these shits were.
it
It
was
felt like
episode
multiple
5
episodes.
of 6, bro. And I was like, what are we doing? What are we so because at least because I think conceptually it's interesting the fact that now because of the whole being stuck in the interdimensional subway thing,
Mm-hmm.
Diego and Five have now each been with Lila for the same amount of time. They've both been with her for 7 years.
Oh yeah,
So I think that's like
that means nothing.
interesting. That would have been like an interesting wrench in their relationship had they had more time to explore that. But because the penultimate episode, it ultimately didn't leave anything because it was just like dramas for drama's sake. Because then she's like, I don't want to be with you. And then he dips out. And then he finds the other fives. And he's like, I wasn't going to come back. But I realized the only way to solve this is we all have to kill ourselves. Well, I can't be happy. None of you
Suicide is
can.
painless.
Lila
You
can't
see-
have you. So we all got to die.
It's like, well, I can't have her, so fuck
Like,
us.
didn't Victor just say he could absorb the marigold? Shut up. No, we all got to die. Which didn't make sense because it was just like, okay, if it's not, it's the marigold in your body that needs to be eliminated and cause the cleanse. It's not you guys.
Yeah,
If y'all don't have to die,
yeah. You
but
would have just had to remove the marigold, which like I'm glad at
which is why
least.
Victor went there in the first place to take the marigold away from Ben.
Right, that was the whole purpose, is to get it out of Ben and Jennifer, or Ben.
Exactly.
Really, it was just Ben.
But then they wanted to do this whole full circle thing with them all holding hands, like they did at the season finale of season one. And then now, for some reason, Lila and Diego's kids and Allison's kids exist in this new timeline where their parents were never born. And now you fuck the world again because in season three, they established the canon thing called the grandfather paradox. How the fuck are they
Oh
there?
fuck, there is a grandfather paradox. God damn it. Okay, which is a shame because I actually like the literal ending that we get. I actually am okay with, of like them self-sacrificing to restore all the timelines in reality from being broken to converge back to one. I actually kind of like that ending where it's like they all are like a bunch of assholes, but they respect like the needs of the many outweigh their desires for themselves, like Lila stepping off the train to let like her family go and actually being selfless, for her kids and everything. It's like I like those parts, of it.
I think it's nice conceptually. I think if we had more room to let it breathe, let these
Yeah,
characters breathe,
as you're
it would have
describing it,
hit
it's
harder.
how did the way I described it to Nina is, um, it's like watching a gymnast floor routine where they start getting into like their flips and everything, and they just like stumble and trip and fall all throughout at different points. But there's some points that are like really well done and well executed, and then at the end, it like is a perfect 10. Where it's just like where they land, like it's like pip 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 pop pip pip poop pip poop, done, and then arms up. It's like and then just like the turnaround. And you got to grade it like that. It's like, well, I don't know all that shit that I saw before, but you ended strong, I guess.
Your final couple of scenes are pretty good, but
Yeah.
then just like yeah, because they created a new timeline. Like yeah, because everything kind of works out because like the Swedes are there, but they're all old playing in the park together, and then like the handler's there, and then Herb and like the other people from the commission are there. I mean, it's yeah, the journey was rough, and I feel like I could enjoy the ending more if the season itself was stronger. If these characters actually
Yeah.
had arcs that meant something, like if Klaus's arc was learning to accept death and prepare him for the season, because he begins the season
Oh,
being
that would have made
terrified
so
of
much
death.
more fucking sense. Even down to like the him being in the grave. Maybe that's what they were intending to do, but
Except, yeah, I think thematically, if the series had hammered home, or each character went through their own organic way of experiencing some form of accepting the things you cannot change, preparing them for this moment of ultimate
mhm.
sacrifice, I think that would have culminated in a much stronger season.
Who had an arc? Like I'm really racking my brain. Luther didn't have an arc.
Nope.
Diego,
Semi kind of had an arc
but
ish.
which another, but it's just minor aside. Them like when he got his uniform back on after he got his powers, like oh looking a little tight and chubby there, and then we see him in the CIA fight,
This nigga was
fucking
ripped.
shredded to the gills. I'm like chubby fucking where? Where is this motherfucker's body? What are you talking about?
We
Fucking
said the
sliced to
same
the
thing.
gills. He looks amazing.
We said the
If
same
that's
thing.
chubby, I'm trying to be chubby like him. Cause
Right. I'm trying
goddamn,
to be on his plan. Man.
yeah. It's like that's what delivering mail and being a father looks like. That's the type of dad I want to be down the road. Fuck.
No, seriously. Yeah. And man, I'm trying to think. 'Cause
Like
did he
I'm
have an
not
arc?
I'm not saying things didn't happen to characters. Things happened. There were events, but like Victor didn't have an arc.
Maybe Victor's whole thing was getting a closure with Hargraves, even though it wasn't the same Hargraves.
It was not an arc. That's just what that's
No, it's not an
closure.
arc. It's closure. I feel like this is
Yeah,
more about
that's ending a
closure.
plot point from that's returning to a plot beat from season 1.
Allison
But
didn't really get anything either.
Allison didn't have an arc. Luther didn't have an arc. Victor didn't have an
Klaus
arc.
didn't
Lila for
definitely
damn
didn't have
sure
an
didn't have
arc.
an arc. Matter of fact, Lila kind of went backwards and around a little bit. Where it's just like I just need something to myself. It's like your brother, like your brother-in-law.
Yeah, dude. And I was like
Nobody had an
thinking
arc this
about it.
season. But also
Nobody
them
had
as
an arc.
Ben definitely didn't have an arc.
Ben died. Ben was just still a dick to the end. And
Yeah,
then they
Ben.
try to do this thing where like Allison sees Ben's face inside of the cleanse, which I thought was going to be interesting, but they just don't do anything with that. Remember his face is like sticks out for a second.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, is it gonna be like he fights back against the Clint? Nope, it is just a little it's
Right, and it's weird because
like air coming out of a body during rigor mortis, just like it's like oh, he's not alive, it's just kind of last bit coming out.
right, they really didn't know what to do because if you think back to the end of season three, you see the crypto Ben, or you see a Ben in Korea with a laptop, implying that that was the Ben that never got picked up by Hargrave, implying that there's two
Hmm.
Bens in this universe. Then the writer was like, "No, that's the same Ben from this one. He just was doing Korea. He was just doing crypto deals in Korea, and that's why he was there." I was like, "Bullshit. That was not what you
I
intended with that fucking post credit scene."
As we're talking about it, I think they had like a strong ending and went at the end of season 3 and they're like, okay, we know how we want to end the show, and went, fuck, how do we connect this ending we have, because it's pretty damn good, where it's like, okay, we're gonna have them all hold hands like the end of season 1 but self-sacrifice to save everybody else instead of themselves and all that, like, just like before. So it's gonna like be a parallel, it's gonna be an echo, and it's like, and they'll be gone, but like the impact of what they did will always be remembered, and it's like it'll be
Yeah,
beautiful and everything. I think they had that, but it had to like work backwards to make a story from it,
exactly.
where it's like we know
But
where
I feel
season
like
3 ends, we know where 4 ends, how do we connect that bridge starting at the end of 4 and moving back to 3?
I feel like the writer had stuff in mind. The showrunner had stuff in mind, but
Yeah.
once Netflix changed it or gave him less episodes, he had to rework it from the ground up. Because he said that, yeah, he was going to do this because he knew that he left out Sloane, but like, yeah, we didn't have time to do Sloane. I was going to have him find her and then her forget who he was, and then we're just going to have to do like
They
what was it, 51st Dates kind of thing.
they could
Where
have
you
did
got to
fucking
remember.
yeah, they could have did Sloane during all the shit that they had Lila do. That would have made more sense. Even if it was just for that episode, like all that time they did, I mean, like for the Lila and Five romance, all that time you took for that, you could have just had that be like, oh, Sloane's back all of a sudden. What
Yeah,
do
and
we
it's
do with
funny
that?
because I watched a video today actually, and the writer, the showrunner, he was like, "I just wanted Five to have a love story, and I wanted to give
He
a love
already
story in the
did
last season."
in season
I know,
one
yeah, with the mannequin
with
or
yeah.
Delilah. He was just like, "I just wanted to have
Why
a
did
love story.
Five
What
need a
better to do
love
with
story?
Delilah?" Literally, the writer was like, "I just want him to have one." Fans might like it, fans might hate it. I don't know. We'll see.
I think most fans will hate it because you picked a character that at best seems like they seem like they'd be really good in-laws,
Because the
but
worst
like
thing
uh-huh.
about it is that when he described it, he just did it. He just gave one character an arc to service another character, not taking into consideration how that would affect the person who he's getting a relationship with. He's like, yeah, I just
Right.
wanted Five to have somebody, so I just gave him Delilah. Or just gave Lila to him to have a love story. I was like,
Which is such
that's
a weird
awful.
fucking idea because he's already like already has enough going on being there's already enough there to do a story with her about like being a mother who's like mourning her individuality not only because she lost her powers but also just having to be something to somebody else all the time and not getting time to like go out. Like you can do an interesting story there, especially with like uh uh postpartum depression being a thing and her maybe like never getting over it, like she's like super mopey, but being in that like secret organization really puts a lot of pep in her step with the preppers and shit. Like that would be a really interesting story to do. She didn't have to fall in love and sleep with like her brother-in-law. That seems woefully like a woeful miss. It's a whiff.
It was a whiff indeed. A sneaky one, too.
Yeah,
Really
so
bad one. So, yeah, man, it sucks because I really loved season one and season two. I liked season three a lot, and then season four was just a whiff, and it sucks because this was one of the strongest shows on TV when it first came out.
it's definitely one of the most unique ones too. Like it's not only with its cast but its premise. It had no problems being like a weird, out there, fucking unusual comic book show.
It
So
was
I
bold. It was a
yeah,
bold series.
it was doing some weird avant-garde unusual shit where it's like the focus wasn't on much as these people being heroes, but just people with superpowers and having problems, really like big family problems with just like themselves and how they, their identity and how they connect to one another and being siblings. And yeah, I mean, like I still stand by, I think the ending is pretty damn strong, but as we talk about it, I am seeing a lot of major holes in the execution. It is also making me realize, and I did agree with this, this is a point that I did think before we had talked. We got to stop doing these shows sub 10 episodes, bro. If it's, I haven't seen anything. I think
Some
the
can do
only
it in
one,
8. Some shows can do it in 8.
most can't. The only ones I've seen that can pull it off were what? The Boys and Invincible.
But yeah, yeah.
Like
Was Stranger Things 8? I don't remember. Stranger Things is
Stranger
more than
Things, I
8.
think was 5,
Stranger
but they
Things
were
is more than 5 episodes.
the most recent season.
They're also really long episodes too. Was
They
that
were
one
long
long?
as they were
No,
movie
no.
length episodes.
They split it into 2 halves. Remember?
They did.
It couldn't have been 5. I'm gonna look it up.
I'm looking it up now. It was. Oh, you're right. You're right. It was 8. 8
Oh
long as
no.
fuck episodes. Yeah, right. It was 4. It was 4 long halves. I thought it was 5.
No,
but they
the
were just
first
long. They were just long as shit.
season one is 8, season 2 is 9, season 3 is 8, and season
Mm.
4 is 9.
Y'all aren't Stranger Things. Acolyte, you weren't Stranger Things.
Ooh, and that's why you got canceled.
That show got canceled for a myriad of reasons. I'm sad, but for very kind of nuanced reasons, and the things that I don't like about that show.
I never
Don't
even watched it.
I would be curious about your thoughts because I definitely talked with Malik about it. Um, it has really good ideas as far as a Star Wars Go show, but it is paced like dog shit.
Oh, woof.
It is 8 like 30-ish minute episodes that don't even form a narrative that I think is fully satisfying for what you get. It's something that could have been edited down to I think a 2.5 hour movie, and you probably would have gotten a much cleaner result. Like I'd be curious of your thoughts too about it, but I think you would hate the pacing. Like that's my biggest issue with it, and I hate that it has a lot of interesting ideas. It has a very diverse cast, but its writing I don't think fully fleshed it out or saved it. The talent was there, but I know people were talking about like all these hate mobs and everything, but it's just like the quality of the writing I don't think backed up the the strength of the ideas. And I hate that it sets a precedent because this happens a lot of times with shows with like more diverse casts. They will think that it's the diversity that makes it weak, and it's like no, it's not. It's just bad writing. I was working on a re-review earlier, and I'm like, here's the thing. I have no beef with the cast and crew of this project. They seem like delightful people. The writing was cheeks. It was doo doo,
The only
and we
thing
people have to learn how to separate those two things. It's like there are times when it's like, oh, that was the production, or how this is edited looks weird, or the acting isn't my cup of tea. And those are some light things I heard about like the lead. But I didn't have those opinions. But sometimes it's just bad writing. A lot of times it's just bad writing.
I
Umbrella
heard,
Academy had weak writing, unfortunately, this season.
season 4 did, yeah. Season 4 definitely did. I
Yeah.
heard that the show had a corny song at one point, but that's all
It
I heard.
it had an R&B song as one of the outros, and I did like the song, but it doesn't sound like a Star Wars song per se. It doesn't sound like space fantasy. It just sounded like an R&B song you'd hear on the radio.
Interesting. Did it feel like a weird thing for Star Wars to have? They're
Yeah.
like, why is this in a Star Wars show?
Yeah, it's like imagine cuz like Umbrella Academy has its own needle drops, right?
Yeah.
So imagine you're watching Umbrella Academy and it has like those little needle drops here or there, and then you get to the end of the episode and it's like fucking Nas, you know? It was like, remember when you watch the Venom movie and then you get to the credits and you just hear Eminem going Venom, you're like, the fuck? Where
What
did
the
that come
fuck?
from?
They just
That
start
was
putting. They just it's this New York drill at the end of the show.
right. It's just, boop, 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 boop. He went to the party.
I'm sorry. What?
It's like, what the hell did he say? But yeah, I can't wait to read the follow up to Acolyte as a book.
Oh man, yeah,
The
damn.
it's like because stories don't die; they just turn into books, and that's where your sequels go. So I can't wait to read the Acolyte sequel from Leslie Headland in a couple years that fleshes out those ideas. I think hopefully better than the TV show did. Because it has a pretty interesting story and does a lot with like expanding the lore. Like there's witches and shit and like an immaculate conception. So there's some really cool ideas there
I
that they
heard.
introduce. I just wish it was like
What?
written in a way that was a lot stronger to support those ideas.
I heard they play with midichlorians again. Like they're supposed to, they do like the chosen one thing, but Anakin was supposed to be the chosen one, so they kind of like messed that up or something like that. I
So
know
not so
vaguely.
much.
I heard that vaguely.
They do bring up midichlorians vaguely, but they rename it. They call it M counts, and then uh
Midichlorian counts.
that's clearly what it stands for. But it's like I guess everyone hates midichlorians so much. It's like oh their M count is very high or whatever. But so it doesn't make them the chosen one. It just shows that like there was a birth created through the Force before Anakin. So people associate Anakin with that prophecy of basically so that's what I mean by like the Immaculate Conception shows up. But this one is a little bit different in terms, but it's like yeah, it's a child conceived by the Force or through with the aid of the Force and like a womb. But it's like yeah, it happened somewhere else before Anakin. But it's like Anakin's still the chosen one. The prophecy is still about him. It still applies to him. But yeah, he just wasn't the first time that somebody managed to pull this off, which is fine because the whole point was that it wasn't supposed to be known that this got pulled off. That this kid was supposed to be a secret anyways. And then the Jedi get involved and it gets messy.
You know what makes me mad the most is the fact that I didn't watch the show, but the fact that the first Star Wars show to star a black woman is critically panned and gets canceled.
Yeah, yeah, that's how I feel too. And it's like because it has a like it was my most excited project of all the ones that got announced, and and I can say with pure confidence, I liked best the beginning, the middle, and the end. Literally episodes 1, 5, and 8. Explicitly the beginning, the dead middle, and the dead end were like my favorite parts of it because I think it starts really strong. It has my favorite like lightsaber combat probably in the series. There's some really cool moments when they actually show action. It's the first time I've seen probably a project ever where everyone in the cast was a name that I was familiar with in some capacity. So I was really excited. I'm like, I know everybody in this cast. I really trusted the writer behind it because she did Russian Doll, and I think both of those seasons are really really good TV, really really good like sci-fi type things, but it's just like but also grounded. They have really interesting themes, and again, it's like throughout, I'm like really good ideas. What's up with this execution? Why is this paced so poorly?
Do you think it was because it had to do with a lot of like Lucasfilm like mandates and like interference, or do you think it was just bad show running and
I
bad
can't
planning?
tell because it's like it's hard for me to believe because I've seen this person be successful. I think it's more so. I think it's a mix of probably Lucasfilm mandates, which is weird because the show had a big budget too. It was 180 million for 8 episodes that account for I'd say probably about 5 hours total of television, which is not a
Okay,
lot if you break that up over 8 episodes, like up to five. It's definitely less than that. Like the longest episode during the season is like 42 minutes.
okay.
And the
Oh,
shortest one, I
really?
think,
Wow. Damn.
and the shortest one is like 26.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, the average is like 30, 35. They have really like
Why do they
like
hate long shows? Like, what the
I
fuck?
it's an 8 episode season. The episodes average around 35 minutes. It was way too short. Where it ends, I don't think is satisfying with what the implication. Like the title is the Acolyte, so it's like, and again, I say this as a very very like I'd say I am a casual plus Star Wars fan. I really know Wikipedia very well, aside from like watching movies and a good amount of shows. But so it's the notion of an acolyte is like the trainee under a Sith. So a Sith acolyte. So the implication is, oh, this is going to be about like an apprentice to the Sith. So we've had all these movies about the Jedi. Here's what the like bad guys are doing and what happens on their directive of thing and from their perspective. That was the implication. And then it's like, okay, and then you get like this really diverse cast of like, okay, that's interesting. So you see, like, it's like, oh, like a black girl that's like maybe playing a villain type thing. And that's sort of where it ends up. but it's like, and there's like nuance to the direction of it, but that's literally where it ends. Is okay. Now she's with the bad guys. It's like, no, I wanted to see that from the beginning. We're
Right.
past. I didn't need the setup. Like the setup could have came in that, and it's just it feels like a movie that got chopped up. So I think part of it is a little bit of Lucasfilm's expectations, and another part is just like the writing team she got. Because on the one hand, it's something that should work in theory, but it seems like it didn't pan out in practice. Where she got half fans of Star Wars that knew it, and half people that didn't know it, so that you can get
Yeah.
fresh ideas. And it's like, yeah, that's what you should do. People that are familiar can keep lore and things correct and add in teasers and references. That's cool. But also people that can bring in new ideas or fresh ideas, things that haven't been done. On paper, that should work. I don't know what happened. It's weird. It's weird. It's like, you're getting young talent and things like that. So I can't put my finger on it. Even in like interviews and stuff, you know, prior to the show being released, the showrunner Leslie Hudlin, she's just like, she didn't make a lot of loud comments. She wasn't harassing or antagonizing people. She wasn't talking about like anything where it's like, oh, the show's so woke or the show's so progressive or whatever. She's like, look, I came to make a show. I'm really passionate about Star Wars. I hope you enjoy it. I respect that. It's just like, look, you didn't bait anybody, you didn't antagonize anybody, or harassing people. So I'm just like, I can't figure out what happened. That's the hard thing. I can tell from the end product that like things weren't shaken out, and I heard where people had some issues, and I know that it got reviewed bomb because brown people exist,
Yeah.
lesbians in space, I know some people were like, oh, there's lesbian space witches. That's weird. I'm like, there's fucking little green people and robots with laser swords. Like lesbian space witches is fucking cool, bro.
I heard one of my coworkers like they went woke with it. They give a Wookiee a mohawk or some shit like that. I was like,
The Wookiee does have a mohawk. I don't. Who would make it woke? If anything, it's kind of cool.
exactly, exactly. I was just like, shut up, bro. Like I didn't even
Well,
see the show. I was just like, yeah, that's dumb.
I
What are you
I'd be
complaining about?
curious to your thoughts. I talked with Malik about it a little bit. I'd be curious to your thoughts, but like as I was watching it, I'm like, Aaron would hate this fucking pacing because like when I was sitting through it, by the end of every episode, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I'm into it. We're really going, and then it would be credits. I'm like, dog. I was getting blue balled every single episode for 8 episodes straight, having to wait another week, and like trying to defend it and be like, no, no, what? Just wait till we'll just see by the end of the season. It's all gonna make sense. Like just huffing the copium, just come on, it's amazing. And then
No,
just
he's
getting
a
to the
good
end,
guy. He's really good. Just you just
it's
got to give him a chance. Once you
just
get
give
to
him a
know him,
chance. But by the end of it, like all I can really say, it's like my critiques of it, because there's stuff that I like. I like the fight combat. I like some of the cinematography. The acting was fine to me. The villain they introduced, I think, is pretty cool. Although I thought it was going a different direction. Um, and there's a lot of really great ideas. The witches and everything I think are really cool. Their phrase is a little silly, but Star Wars is filled with silly shit. But it's just
in your opinion, is it better or worse than the Book of Boba Fett?
I I don't know. Me personally, I would probably put it a hair above. But Book of Boba also has that one. It has two things that I really like. I really like the flashbacks in that show, and obviously, I like the parts where Mando shows up, which is great. But in this one, it's like I like the lore and ideas they set up. I really like the fight choreography. Um, there's a really cool scene where we see a kyber crystal bleed for the first time, and I think that's really awesome how that was executed. I like the fact that this show kind of has stakes, where it's like you think about the timeline of this. I'm like, okay, there's no way that uh that like when the villain introduces themselves and goes on a fucking murder spree, it's cool.
Okay.
It's kind of sick. Like two people get impaled on a lightsaber. It's pretty dope.
Oh shit. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like it's some kind of cool shit. But also like how they distract that character is a little silly. But again, Star Wars is silly, so I probably put it a little bit above Book of Boba. But I don't hate Book of Boba Fett as much as other people do. I don't hate this show. I think it's just kind of aggressively uh in the
Mid.
middle, unfortunately, which is disappointing given how many people were behind it. And I was kind of like, I worse shows have gotten more seasons. Like
Is it
Riverdale went on for far too long, and this didn't.
is it better or worse than the final season of Umbrella Academy?
This is really tough.
If
Because
it's that comparable, then that's bad.
because the thing is, Umbrella Academy at least has like episodes that don't irritate me when they end. I just went to the next one and be like, okay, the like it, not a lot. There's not. They kind of pitter patter about in season 4, but like I do feel a sense of okay, we're trying to do something. Whether or not it works is a different matter.
I think Umbrella Academy is fun if you're not thinking about it too hard. Like I feel like it's one of those seasons that are
Yeah, when we
designed for
talked
you to
about it, I'm like,
watch.
oh, there's holes in this shit like cheese. Oh,
Oh, this shit Swiss.
yeah, this shit is like this is a Swiss production. Acolyte, I couldn't really find holes. It's just its execution of its ideas are not great. He fuck. They're like comparable, really. It's like where one
Mm,
succeeds, like the other one fails. They
damn.
like pair well. Like Umbrella Academy is 6 episodes, but that shit is like 7 hours. Versus
Okay.
this one, which is 8 episodes, is like 4, maybe 4.5,
Damn.
which is wild for a show with a budget of $180 million.
I realize I haven't really seen anything past Mando season 3 or outside of the Mando and Boba Fett series. 'Cause I haven't watched. I never watched Ahsoka. I never watched.
I watched
Um,
Ahsoka. I enjoyed it well enough.
I, I still haven't seen the other show that everybody loves, Andor. I haven't seen Andor.
I still need to watch Andor. My issue is that because I'm invested in Star Wars mostly for like space laser sword wizards and shit, me engaging in the aspects of the more political and like spy espionage thing takes a lot of my mental capacity to focus on it. So it's like
Yeah,
I really like Visions because a lot of those stories are just like doing shit with Jedi or Sith.
right.
But like
I
if
like
you
the
have the
mystical
episode,
aspects of it. The
yeah, and
mystical
just like
aspect of Star Wars.
yeah, so it's like that's why I can like tolerate Ahsoka because like oh I'm gonna get a fight scene. It appeals to the action nerd in me. It's like I'm not really in Star Wars for the political aspect of it. Which I know that sounds fucking insane because Star Wars is inherently political because war is political. But it's like I'm more so it's like you could that's like the title, but I am more intrigued in like the spiritual and action oriented side of things, in the philosophy of just like an ethos behind these kind of warring factions versus like the Empire and the Republic. I actually don't care about that bit as much. That said, Rogue One is a decent movie,
Yeah,
great.
I've seen Rogue One like maybe once
Great
and a half
cinematography.
times. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, I feel like
Beautiful.
that's a similar thing for me. I think trying to get involved in the political aspect of it doesn't tickle my brain in the same way as like the ooh lasers and the force and the
Yeah.
ooh pretty lightsabers. But that's like the lizard brain in me. But a show that does appeal to me because I just love like mystical coming of age type of stories, the Skeleton Crew. That trailer intrigued me.
Really. I guess
Oh,
that
you
that
didn't
can
like it?
So I guess that can move us into us talking about like SDCC and D23 announcements and all that.
Okay, that's
Um,
a good transition.
so I saw the trailer for Skeleton Crew with all the other D23 announcements, which is a lot. A lot of nostalgia. It's a whole separate combo. But it was one of those projects where I realized I don't think this is for me.
Oh, Skeleton Crew is not for you, huh?
I don't think so. It didn't really grab my attention. I mean, if I hear positive reception, I might check it out. But it's like
Oh, I love kids going on like crazy adventures and like, ooh, there's a Jedi. Like, yeah, it's like Goonies. It's like Stranger
Yeah,
Things.
that's what they sold it as, where it's just like it's Goonies in space, and I'm like, that's cool, and I hope people enjoy it. I hope it's good. It's just like it didn't.
It's
I don't know.
John Watts.
Yeah, and he's a good director. He can direct, so I'm not worried about that. It's like, who knows? I could change my mind and come around on it. I guess just like this long period of hearing close to nothing kind of withered my interest, and just like watching the trailer didn't really grab it that much. Aside from it's just like it looks like Goonies in space. I think Stranger Things works a little better for me because the tone for that is like horror, and you don't see that as much for like those types of kid adventure series versus this one where it's just like I only really get the kid adventure, but I don't get the additional tone of I think the sci-fi aspect of Star Wars aside from the Jedi at the tail end.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I haven't seen anything yet that really hooks me. It's like Stranger Things. It's like, oh, it's a period piece set in like one of the heights of pop culture. And then now you have this mystery and these monsters that are showing up, and how do these little children fight these monsters that are like killing people? It's like, okay, you got me. It's like Ghostbusters. What if four working class men became exterminators? So it's like there's a hook, and I don't think I found the hook in Skeleton Crew, other than it's just like, whoa, there's a Jedi here. I'm like, yeah, we had those in the Acolyte and Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian, Ahsoka. Like we've okay, you gotta give me a little bit more than like, you know, a bald dude that can pull something.
I get you. I get you. I think because maybe for me, because I feel like you said what your Star Wars plus. What did you say your level of
Yeah,
Star Wars
I
respect
am I
was?
am casual plus.
I
you know,
am casual at best.
yeah,
I'm definitely more interested in comics than I am Star Wars, but I
sure.
still like it. I'll tune in. Like for fucking idea. I didn't even watch the OG movies and the prequels until
Rise of
Force Awakens
Skywalker.
came out. So Force Awakens came out. So like I'm
Okay.
like I'm like I'm like a 10-year-old Star Wars fan at this point.
Mm.
A 10-year-old casual. So seeing a lot of these things and coming in sporadically, I'm like, ooh, yeah, that interests me. Like, I really liked, even though I didn't finish the game, conceptually, and like the gameplay was really fun for the one with the Cal Kestis.
Oh, Fallen Order.
Fallen Order, yeah, because it was like, okay, it's this prequel thing, and we're exploring like temples and like there's witches and like, okay, we're seeing a different type of Star Wars than we've seen in the movies, and it sounds like Acolyte started to touch some of those things. I feel like now that we've introduced some of those things to a larger audience, I feel like there's room for the franchise to really play in other
Yeah,
areas that are unknown or were largely unknown to like a casual person like myself. So it gives them the opportunity to tell different types of stories. Like, fuck, maybe we
yeah.
can tell a horror movie in the Star Wars universe now.
Which that's something I'd really like to see is just like do like some rogue. I think they need to branch out genre wise. Like they've touched on it here and there, but it's just like if you do like, and it doesn't even have to be R rated,
I was gonna
but
say if they announce an R-rated Star Wars project, would that incite you?
I'd definitely be curious because be like, what the fuck did you do to make it R rated? Like I couldn't see Lucasfilms having the stones to do like like an Alien Romulus but Star Wars, where it's like a creature feature, or like an intense horror where someone's like using the Force to be a serial killer or some shit.
Ooh, yeah,
It's
like
like
a
some
Star Wars Who Done It or like a Star
yeah.
Wars
Okay, let me
slasher film.
let me
That'd be
let me
sick.
say this. I'm sure these things have been done in other mediums. Like one of the hardest lines I've ever seen in comics was from Darth Vader, where he was like surrounded by like a bunch of I don't think it was stormtroopers or somebody else, like rebels, and they're just like you're surrounded, and he's like all I'm surrounded by is what was it? It was like Noise and Empty Men or something like that. Hold up.
You know what's also like the tough part
All I'm
about it
surrounded
is,
by is fear and dead men, which is one of the hardest
ooh,
lines I've ever fucking heard uh, from a
that's
Darth Vader
crazy.
comic. So it's like it's not like they don't do, and I'm sure they've done it in like books where they've done like horror, or like romance and things like that. But it's not making it, I think, to the screen to the people, and I wish that was more the case. Like I would love to see Star Wars do like a romance. That could be really fun, especially with people that seem to complain about female fam. Marvel could do this too. They're not doing a great job of that either. But it's like, it's like do something that's like a romance between like Malik told me about this. There was a book that's like it's like a romance between a rebel and an empire member. I'm like, see, that's a way to hook me into the political aspect because essentially what you did is you had a Republican and a Democrat fall in love, or not even that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fucking conservative and a leftist. And it's like, he was a socialist and she was a MAGA. We don't know how the fuck that happened, but hey.
Could you imagine like a before midnight in Star Wars or before sunset? You seen those movies?
No, what is that?
Oh, Before Sunset is essentially this movie about these two people. One dude's American, the girl's French, and they meet on a train. It's like a meet
Mm,
cute, and then the entire movie is them walking throughout the city over the course of a night, getting to know each other, and until he has to go back to America and she goes
mm.
back to France. And it takes place in the '90s, so there's no cell phone, so it's just their one night together.
Wait
But
a
imagine
second.
that throughout the galaxy.
I've heard of this before because I heard about yeah. I heard about the third one of it, Before Midnight,
Yeah.
a
So
while
it is a
back. I
trilogy,
have
and
heard of
each
it.
one of them, yeah, and each
Yeah.
one explores like relationship dynamics in your twenties, and then your forties.
Yeah, I've definitely heard of them. I have to check those out. But
And then
yeah,
there's
it's just
another
like I'm.
one
Mhm.
that Chris Evans did called Before We Go with Alice Eve. That one takes place in New York, but unrelated. But yeah, like there's a chance to explore genres within this universe. But I feel like you could also run the risk of fans being like, yeah, but it doesn't feel like Star Wars, and like
And the
that's
thing
the
is, like,
shitty
you have
thing.
to do it well, and
But you
that
also have to give Star Wars a chance to evolve and use
yeah.
these elements and these tools to explore other things and other themes within it.
Which and unfortunately, that's what Acolyte was trying to do. Is like, especially with it being set in the High Republic era, which is like 100 years before the era that we all know and people are way too obsessed with. I'm personally kind of done with it. I'm done with this era of Star Wars. I'm like, look, give me something different. Um, so it was like, cool. It's introduced into a new era, a new time, new characters, new space. Like mostly unfamiliar faces, aside from one or two. They're like really minor. So it's just like, yeah, you're trying to do something new because everyone has been in this safety net of this rebel empire peak kind of you know battle this peak of the war when it's like do something. It's like do different tones and genres, which I think that's why Vision works, especially because it's animated. You can do more freedom with the medium, or do different time periods. But the thing is, Star Wars, I think it's easier to do with superheroes because you have different characters that can lead that. But Star Wars, you started with one core extended time frame and one extended conflict, and people are accustomed to that conflict. So I think the average person will struggle to go beyond it. Like the fact that, like, if Mandalorian was written less quality, it wouldn't have made it past that first season because it was a risk, it was a gamble where it's like, hey, let's do something that's not about the Jedi. Now, inevitably, the fuckers came back in and got involved in it. But how it started was like, look, it's a space western,
Yeah,
that goes episode by episode. It's like, okay, pretty good.
yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of other cool genres to explore within Star Wars. Like
Yeah, like
could you
horror, thriller,
imagine?
romance,
Could you
adventure.
imagine? Oh fuck. I had two thoughts, two very opposite thoughts. Right.
Hmm.
One, could you imagine a Wes Anderson Star Wars movie?
Oh God, annoy the fuck out of me. I can the color palette in that movie is like obnoxiously saturated.
It's
Which
the
you know what,
weirdest
that would
Star
probably
Wars
be
I've
the
ever
most distinct
seen.
looking Star Wars movie behind
That
Rogue One and
one,
Last Jedi,
that one, a Tarantino Star Wars movie,
which
a
he was
James,
supposed to be doing a Star Trek movie at one point.
yeah, a James Cameron Star Wars movie.
That
That'd
was
be
just
like
Avatar.
fucking 1,500 years to make, right?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like part of me is like the executives would be too afraid to really go there with it. I feel like they've been too afraid to get too outside of their pocket, because they're like, oh, we have to appeal to the mass market because we want to make money. But taking
yeah,
risks and letting creators do what they do and trusting in the people that you hire, that's how you make the money through word of mouth
yeah. It's just
because your
like
quality
just
is
just
good.
make a good product. It doesn't mean that you can't have corporate oversight to make sure your investment is good, but it does mean that it's like, it's like trust your creators enough, but when you focus test it, that'll tell you about what does and doesn't work with your product.
Exactly.
Like you got to edit it, you got to review, but also make sure that you're coming in with that people are coming in with full ideas for seasons if you're doing or in movies as well. Like
Hmm.
don't come in like if I'm pitching a premise to somebody, like matter of fact, here's an example. When I was at my friend's birthday party over the weekend, I pitched an idea um, for a parody of Hallmark movies that was about Kwanzaa, and I off the dome, I pitched the whole thing and two sequels as a
Mm.
joke,
Mm.
just
Damn.
just, just fucking around, you know.
Mhm.
And everybody was laughing and they're like, no, but you should actually do that. And I've very very slowly started like creating a scan of it, but it's like have a start, middle, and end that will hold somebody's attention throughout that, whether for your narrative, that will hold somebody's attention and be like, huh, I got where you're going for. I like that. Because I get that you don't create for an audience, but I think that idea can get a little difficult if you're like a corporation creating something under an IP.
Yeah.
So it's like James Gunn is doing Superman, but James Gunn also knows that he has to make Superman for with Superman fans in mind.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel like that'd be like the marriage of what you're known for, what you like to do, and the expectation. You got to find that
Yeah.
like that's nice pocket for sure.
Yeah, you gotta balance that because it's like it's different depending on the IP. Like Universal Monsters, you have a lot more freedom with because the characters you're playing with, like like Dracula, Wolfman, Invisible Man, the Mummy, all those. It's like the fictional character isn't really like a character; it's more of an archetype, and then you kind of feed character into it. Versus like if someone's like, "Oh, you get to do a Spider-Man movie." Well, fuck. Who is Peter Parker?
All
Who
right.
is Miles Morales? Who is Hobie Brown? Like, who are you have names associated with that. So even if you make your own, it's like cool. Well, here's what people associate with that brand. This is what people think of. Even if it's somebody that's less known, it's like, oh, here's a Spawn movie. You can't do like a PG Spawn movie and
Hell
expect it to be
no.
successful. Right. You know how you made that face just now? You're like, no, what the fuck? Yeah, sounds fucking crazy.
God, can you do a rated R Star Wars though? Like, I don't know. You know what made this whole conversation just make me think of?
Hmm.
What the fuck was that Phil Lord? What was Solo gonna be before they scrapped the shit? The Chris Miller and Phil Lord
Probably a
Solo.
competent version of Rebel Moon.
I still ain't watched those motherfucking
I'm not
movies.
watching them shits. Spending nine
He
hours
did.
of my day watching
Did
a
you know
Zack
he
Snyder.
released? Because the original plan was to do the part one, do the part two, and then breadcrumb you and we'll do a part one extended, part two extended. But because of the reception, they just released part one and part two extended at the same time. So now you can watch all 7 hours of Zack Snyder, or all 5 hours, or whatever the fuck.
Or I cannot do that and watch Mob Psycho 100 since I'm deciding to do some crazy shit. I would
There you
rather try to work my way through Pokemon from the beginning than watch those two movies.
go. I'd rather work my way through One Piece than try to watch Rebel Moon.
Got fucking right. I'd rather work my way through fucking Detective Conan, case closed. A show that is older than me and still on television.
God damn.
Yeah. I'd rather work from OG Doctor Who to the
I'd rather
present.
watch. I'd rather watch all the Simpsons episodes from start to now.
Yeah. Rather work my way through
I'd rather watch every single episode of Sesame Street through today.
at least I'd learn something.
Exactly, along the way,
Yeah, like, hey, look,
a little bit every day.
yeah, like I'd probably learn some new words. I'd be a beast at spelling. Elmo would be there.
Cookie Monster,
Yeah,
got Big Bird. At least my brain's growing instead of rotting.
right. It's like I no. It's like
I don't know. Maybe
it's like
maybe there's something to learn from Rebel Moon. Maybe it's not as painful as we believe it to be.
maybe it's not.
I'll never know.
Anyways, it's like maybe we're wrong. Guess we'll never know. Anyways,
Some more stuff
um,
happened to SDCC.
yeah, some stuff happened at SDCC, and we had D23 like right afterward. And we can just mishmash all that together. We'll end with we'll end the news bit with the Downey stuff because that's going to be its own conversation.
Right.
So Marvel gave us, and a lot of these we saw through leaks. Ironheart, what'd you think about it?
I thought it was cool. The trailer didn't excite me too much, but I'm intrigued. Like what's the Calvin Candy saying? You, it still has my
Oh,
curiosity, but it doesn't have my attention yet.
I got you.
But I like it's like the marriage of technology and magic. We're gonna get to
Yeah,
see that on a street level, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I like the actors involved. Anthony Ramos, he's a
yeah,
great actor. He's very charismatic. Um, Dominique Thorne, I think she's really good.
she's
I
super
liked her,
talented.
super talented. We just got to see what they do with the show. So yeah, it's just like, all right.
Yeah,
I feel the way about Ironheart that you felt about Skeleton Crew. I'm like, all right, I just need to see more. But
yeah,
sure,
yeah. I'm on board for it. I'm interested. I mean, I read a lot of her original run and a little bit of her secondary run by Eve Ewing. Um, I fucking hate her second costume that she had in the book. I think it's really, really tacky. So I like the fact that she had it remixed in Wakanda Forever, and I like what it seems like we're gonna get for the show. I'm interested. I'll watch it. It's being produced by Ryan Coogler, so I trust his judgment. I don't think he's gonna. I like Anthony Ramos. Uh, it's not like they were gonna do anything with the hood, so might as well throw him in there as a villain for Riri. I'm curious how they're going to adapt a lot of elements from her lore. Um, I'm a little on the fence about like her getting booted out of MIT just because it's like, damn, we got a genius black girl and now she has to go back to the hood. Oh boy, but
yay.
yeah, but it depends how they write it. I'm sure they'll write it in a way that's done well. Like a lot of stuff on paper seems a little crazy. So we
Yeah,
got that. We got news about Eyes of Wakanda a little bit too, since we're talking about Coogler. It's gonna be 4 episodes. Seems to be a prequel.
I
We didn't
think
really
I
get any footage of it
remember.
though.
That's the thing. When I went to see like an early screening of What If, I got to check out some footage for Spider-Man and for Eyes of Wakanda, and it looks like it's going to be like almost like a painting. Like it's going to
Okay,
be
I
like
heard it was
a
supposed to be
motion
kind of
painting.
stylized.
It's very stylized. Yeah, it's not like any other animation we've seen, which is pretty cool. I think the only thing, no, I can't even compare it to that, but it's stylized not in the same way, but
In a
as
unique way.
stylized, yeah, as stylized as the Black Panther show from
Okay.
years ago.
Oh
But it's
yeah,
not
that
the same.
motion comic show.
But not. It's not the same style. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's taken like African influences, so it's pretty
Okay.
cool.
Okay, that episode counts. Same for Marvel Zombies because they're the same. Although we didn't really get a confirmation about that. Kind of worries me a little bit because they're both 4 episodes. I'm like, what the fuck has been going on all this time? That it's like only 4 episodes.
I
That's
think I think Rise of Wakanda might be like more of a anthology show
I'll give
rather
that one a
than.
little bit of leeway, but I'm still, especially after Acolyte, it's like something about 4 episodes seemed. I'm like, then what's taking it so long? It's not like X-Men 97 where it's like, okay, it came here and it was like 10 strong episodes. Damn, we never talked about that. That's a whole separate talk. But it's just like,
Wait,
oh yeah,
which
you can
episode? Wait, what are we going to talk about?
X-Men 97.
Oh, right. That's a whole other conversation. Right.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like it came out strong and swinging. It's like, yeah, let them cook however long season 2 takes. Take your time. But these we don't know really anything about, so it's. I wish we would have gotten more than just a logo, but
Yeah.
uh,
What's another show we did get footage for? I know it's another one we
uh,
did got footage for. We haven't talked about. I don't think I
what?
heard your thoughts about this. Agatha all along.
Oh, I was about to ask you about that. I'm definitely interested. I like the cast. The
We're getting
singing
that this
element is
year.
interesting. Yeah, that's
Yes.
I think next month.
Oh wow, damn.
Yeah,
It's weird. I'm looking forward to it because I watched WandaVision, but it feels like, how do I say this?
like it
Like
wasn't initially planned.
but it feels like something that isn't for MCU fans, but for like more casual people to bring them into this very specific experience. And they're
More than likely.
utilizing tools that they have in the MCU to craft this experience. Like I can't imagine this is going to connect to really anything else. But springboarding off the fact that it was connected to something that's connected to the MCU.
Yeah, like there are things that I can see being picked for things later, particularly Wiccan being in the show. So it's
Okay,
like
fair.
a springboard for him to do Young Avenger stuff later and maybe do Hulkling stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna be interested. I mean, I quite enjoyed Catherine Hahn and her performance. You know, everybody loves Aubrey Plaza. She's the goat. So I'm curious to see what she does with the Green Witch. Um, another actress, Sashir Zamata, is somebody that I find pretty funny, so I like her. I'm curious what she's gonna have to do in the show. So yeah, I'm definitely intrigued, especially just they found a neat workaround because one of the things I was wondering for the longest is how are they gonna break the hex over Agatha, and then I remember that Wanda got killed, which I'm like, I guess that worked out well for them, huh? Because I don't know if they, I know they announced the
Kills.
show, but then she like died. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that would probably stop the magic
Is that what
if
they said in
she's.
the second trailer that she died so she's back?
You
Or
said
you
she's
think? Or
died, so she's back.
no, I'm saying, is that what they said? I didn't watch the second trailer, but because Wanda died, the hex is broken. Did they? Is that confirmed?
That's not confirmed. That's just my inference.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, yeah, that would make sense, but I'm also like, oh, because the way that they killed Scarlet Witch, I was like, they didn't kill her. She ain't
Yeah,
really dead.
we didn't see a body, and
Exactly.
that's the general rule of thumb. It's like didn't see a body, didn't die. But yeah, I'm interested. I hope it's good. Um, Now the real one we want to talk about, Daredevil Born Again. Woo!
Ooh, that
Phew!
was we
The
back,
king is
baby.
back. Oh, thank God. Got a little nervous there for a second. Just with all the news and controversy coming out about its original run, and then they're like, we're gonna redo this shit top to bottom, get the original cast back. I'm like, yeah, don't ruin that goodwill, buddy. Like,
Oh no, yeah, you can't fuck up Daredevil.
phew, it's like, whoo, we dodged a bullet.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. And I'm happy that we're getting a continuation, seemingly, with all of our cast members back. You know, we got Punisher back, we got Bullseye back, we got
Yep.
Kingpin back. That reminds me, I still gotta watch Echo. Shit, I
Oh,
forgot. I keep
probably
forgetting.
should finish that.
Right, one of these days. I saw the first episode. I never went back to it. It's wild because it's a
Same
short.
for me. I
But
think I
it's
watched
the
the first
shortest
two.
of all the. Okay, it's the shortest of all the shows, which is hilarious. And I can't get through it, but I'll come back to it eventually.
Yeah, I'll probably try to finish it before then. But
But,
yeah,
but
Born
that trailer
Again.
was great.
It looks
It's a
yeah, it
really
looks
good
really
trailer.
good.
It looks tonally similar to what we got before, with some more
Cinematography's
MCU flavors in it.
cinematography's on point. Combat fight scenes are on point so far.
It's going to be just as violent. The
Yeah,
suit looks great.
yeah, yeah. The
Much better
drama's there,
suit.
like the melodrama is right about there. Apparently, Matt has a new love interest because he's just a certified city boy.
Did he end with Karen and Daredevil? I can't remember where that show ended off with him. With
If I recall, he ended with God damn, he had hella girlfriends. It was season 1, it was
Claire Temple,
Claire. Season 2 was Elektra. Season 3 was
Karen Page.
Karen. Then there was She-Hulk that he hooked up with. Now he's gonna be with like some Greek chick. This man is a hoe.
A whole hoe. He been a hoe.
Like he may not be able to see, but he can smell a bitch from a mile away. He said, "I'll need to be able to see to do what I do." He said, "Everything is enhanced with me, baby. You must not have heard about me. I stay." He's like, "I'm a lawyer and I fight crime. I know what a long night is. Like,
Damn, out here breaking hearts. This man's blind to his own actions.
breaking hearts. He's breaking backs, and I'm not
Hearts
talking
and
to
backs.
criminals. He's keeping the
Damn.
streets safe and being on the streets himself.
You got that dog in him.
He do. That's what they say about them Murdoch boys. You know, they got the devil in them. He come around with that devil dick.
I was about to say.
um,
Maybe he can hear your breath and your heartbeat. He know how to
right,
work your body.
right.
He got them
Yeah,
super
I'd be scared.
senses.
I'd be scared. And he got a boxer stamina,
Mm. Yeah,
a lawyer's focus, and a boxer stamina. He's crazy.
he knows every vital in your body when you're about to climax.
Right. Smell your bodily fluids. That'll be your 6th orgasm tonight. It's only been 5 minutes. Like, dog, what the fuck?
Damn, Matt, chill.
Be scared to death.
Right.
Um,
That's what happens when you fuck with the devil.
but
He'll take your
yeah.
soul.
Taint your soul is crazy. Oh man, I wouldn't mind seeing She-Hulk in the show though. She ain't gonna show up, but I wouldn't mind her. Trying to think what else we got at D23. Percy Jackson and Olympian season 2 is starting filming. Tron
Ooh,
Ares is was it?
something I liked before we go to the non-Marvel stuff. Two things really. One,
Oh,
the
we didn't talk about
concept
Spider-Man either.
footage. That we also didn't talk about the concept footage for Fantastic Four and Michael Giacchino's theme.
Oh, thank you for reminding me. Yes. Sorry, go ahead.
I thought one, the footage was really good. I'm excited for
Yeah.
that movie. I like seeing the
Yeah.
Fantastic Car. That was really cool, and I love the theme. I love Michael Giacchino's theme for
It's a
Fantastic
beautiful
Four.
theme. If
I'm like, I don't think we've had any powerful themes in the MCU outside of maybe the Avengers, which is
not
kind of wild.
I mean Black Panthers is good.
Oh, cool.
Um Trying to think who else has a theme. Captain America's is okay. It's solid. So
Yeah,
yeah. So part of the issue is not enough of them have consistent themes that have been used throughout projects.
true.
But if they keep Giacchino, and again, and we talked about this too in the chat. So I think Giacchino is an incredible composer. Like if
Minus the Spider-Man themes.
we'll talk about that in a sec. So it's like I think broadly speaking, he could be like the next John Williams, like or the next like Danny Elfman, like the next legendary. He is he's a living legend to me in my eyes. Now I like his Spider-Man and Batman themes, but I do have issues with them too, where it's just like they're good. I don't think they're great. That's the thing. I think they're good at what they do. Uh, but
Wait, his themes?
yeah, I think his themes for Batman and Spider-Man are good, but I don't think they're great because
I think
they
his Batman. I think his Batman theme is great. I love his Batman theme. I don't love
it's
his
like
theme for Spider-Man.
his Batman builds up to me. So it's like, remember the Batman was like doon doon
Dun,
doon
dun,
doon
dun,
doon,
dun.
but it just keeps doing that. It's like
No, it gets more. It goes more intense.
yeah,
Bum, bum, bum,
but
bum.
it sounds more, and maybe this is the point. It sounds like the soundtrack to a panic attack versus like a swashbuckling detective hero. But then again,
I don't
that
think it
is
is
the
supposed to
tone
be
for the
swash.
movie.
I don't think it is swashbuckling. It's dark.
No,
It's
that's what I'm
dreary.
saying. Yeah, I'm saying
Yeah.
it's not like I don't feel safe with that. I feel threatened. So
Right.
it's like yeah, it's like so yeah. Hearing that makes me feel like the person that Batman is hunting in like the Arkham game. If I heard that shit, I'm like, why is there boss music? Holy shit, I'm terrified. Like it sounds stressful. So I think it's a really good theme. I just wish it had like a day crescendo or like a drop or a de-escalation. But at that point, it just turns into Darth Vader's theme. It's like dur 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 dur. Like it's I just
Okay, I can see how it's like a variation of Vader's theme for sure. I get that.
yeah, but because someone's put them together, so that's why I wish it had a drop because it feels a little unsatisfying. Where it gets more pressured, and it gets more intense, but it doesn't like dur 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 dur, and like I wish it had like a just a drop off note.
I think the thing for me to for it to feel like that character's theme is if you put that song, that theme, in other mediums or other variations of Batman, and if it still fits.
Yeah. It's like that was yeah, it needs I don't know. It's like they
Or wait, is that TASM 2 or that TASM 1?
That was TASM 2.
Fuck. You see, I can remember TASM 1's theme. Shit.
If I hear it, it immediately comes back to me, but I'm forgetting, I'm blanking on it now. But it's like, yeah, that one, that I remember. Everybody remembers the McGuire one because fucking John Williams, if I recall.
Yeah, it's
Um,
classic.
it's like the '90s theme is strong, but it's like, it's I get what he was going for with the Spidey one because it sounds like in the Tobey Maguire movies do this too. The Williams score where it's just it sounds like a spider crawling. So it's like when that's what I get. It's like, do 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 it's like dun 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 like a slow spider
Okay.
crawling across the way. So I get what he's going for, but it needs I think more impact at that climax for
Okay.
when it has like its variations because I think when it's like because there's like the slow and low one when he's just walking around investigating stuff versus when he's Spider-Man and it's like, oh, it's the whole orchestra versus like the final swing when it's like dramatic and slowed down and whatnot. But I think it doesn't have a punch to it that I think it needs, and I'm not sure what it would be. I think it would be probably drums and a horn,
Okay.
like a
Hmm.
like, can you
I don't
imagine, like,
know.
right before there's like, boom, boom, dum, 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 like a breakdown?
Okay. Possibly. You know, maybe because those movies don't feel because that entire trilogy is essentially like Spider-Man becoming Spider-Man. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
that's why they never felt like Spider-Man because he didn't really swing through the city until the end of the third one, which is
Well, in the
wild.
end of the second one too. So basically, the ends
Oh,
of his
you're right.
movies is when he's swinging.
True. The end of the second two movies. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
we
the
he's swaying. I think in the middle of the first one, when he was patrolling the city, and that was it.
okay. But like not he was swinging like through Queens. He wasn't swinging through
Yeah,
Manhattan.
he wasn't in the city. He was in a borough.
Right, exactly.
The heights were low.
Yeah, but back to Fantastic Four. I love the
Yeah,
fact that it feels
I love the
one like a
look.
theme. The look is so slick. I really like Johnny's suit that we got to see at D twenty
I do
three.
too. I'm really liking the suit.
Oh,
Um, I'm still gotta be sold on Joseph Quinn. I'm sorry,
same. I gotta be sold on Joseph Quinn. I'm sold on
and
this
it's not his talent.
variation.
It's not his
Right,
talent. It's
the
being
type of
convinced
personality.
that it's a personality thing because like Johnny is a hot boy in multiple ways. Where it's like he's a jackass, he's a flirt, and he's a hoe. And so it's like Chris Evans, I see all those things. Michael B. Jordan, I see a couple of those things, even though that movie is dog shit. But it's like Joseph Quinn, I think he has the talent to back it up. I'm not questioning his range as an actor at all. But to get those qualities, like
Also, you
outside
have
of
to
Eddie,
think: how
mm-hmm.
does that version of that guy present itself in the 1960s? Because
Ooh, that's a great point.
when I think of that guy, I can see that guy in the 80s.
Grease.
I can see that guy in the 2000s. Well, what does that guy look like in the 1960s? I'm trying to. That's what I'm having a
I'd
trouble
have to
kind
dig
of
out
thinking
my
about.
old F4 comics to remember that.
Yeah, so maybe that's the kind of thing they're going
Mm,
for because I feel like
that's a really good point. I didn't think about that.
because I saw him in. I've only seen him in two things as of right now. Because I
Mm.
recently, like as of like Sunday, just saw A Quiet Place Part One, and I've seen him in Stranger Things,
Yeah, I've seen him in
and
Stranger Things. Yeah.
he's oozing with charisma in Stranger Things, and then he plays like a different kind of character in A Quiet Place, a lot more
Mm-hmm.
heart, a lot more sincere. So I'm very curious as to like what kind of guy we're getting because he seemed like kind of timid in that variation of like the test footage we saw. But then again, that was only a quick shot.
Yeah.
Now, the thing I am curious about, which is, oh, it's doing that thing like Mister. When I first heard the casting, I wasn't excited, but now seeing it in context, I'm intrigued. Which is
Hmm.
Pedro Pascal as Mister Fantastic, because they're going like the classic 1960s like household leader. You know, he has like the slick back hair and the mustache, and I feel like they're gonna do that thing that they did with Pattinson, where like they're taking the basic concept of this guy, this type of character,
Right.
and kind of utilizing those base elements, but taking it in a direction that is necessarily different. Like how Batman is like typically more stoic, right? And he's like kind of
Hmm.
menacing because of his silence and because of his thinking. But what Robert Pattinson did with that character was he is those things, but there's an element of sadness to him as well. There's
Hmm.
like this dreariness to it, which is like subtext that actor brings to that character, but what makes sense to for that character to be. Now, I think what Pedro Pascal potentially could be bringing is that smartest man in the world element, but bringing that '60s household kind of. Um, I feel like
It's a
the
lot of
the
ego and hubris, really, when you think about like
ego.
those.
Yeah, I think it's ego and hubris, but I think it's underneath
It's not
the.
malicious.
It's not malicious. No, I think that's his his charm, or like that's his drive. But I feel like it's gonna be underneath this layer of the facade of like the '60s charm.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like he's gonna be
Yeah.
very charismatic, but he is that still that guy that's like endlessly curious to a fault, and like who is
Yeah.
dedicated to his work.
And I can definitely see that being pulled off from especially like that kind of '60s vintage-ish aesthetic of just like, no, no, we'll have none of that now. We're going to be, that midwestern kind of
Transatlantic.
formulation. Yeah, the transatlantic accent of just like, it's like, relax now, honey. I'll attend to this. Let the men have a chat for a moment, and you go over there and get us some drinks really quick, sweetheart. And,
Yeah, exactly.
where it's just like he's he's a different type of asshole than Tony Stark is an asshole, where it's just like
Right.
there's been nothing there to challenge his intellect, but he thinks he's kind of being considerate when he may not really be, and kind of has to be clocked on it.
Yeah,
And maybe
exactly.
Sue is kind of the heart that's like, hey, Dick, can you not do that? It's like, oh, my bad. I didn't realize I was being a jerk. I was didn't. Also, Galactus showing up. What the fuck? Big ass
Yeah,
eyes.
we're finally getting a real Galactus, which is great. Never thought I'd see
Yeah,
that in a film.
even I like when watching the leaked footage from San Diego, I'm like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. And then just eyeballs, and even the crowd was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, yeah, it's an appropriate response. So
Yeah,
what the
they.
fuck was that?
Yeah, I wonder how weird. Because from interviews, I've heard they're actually going to be space adventurers. I'm like, yes, that's what I've wanted to see this entire
Good.
time.
Yeah,
Let them.
that's what we've been waiting for.
And using the 1960s and Age of Wonder and the retro, it's just such a
Yeah.
smart form of doing that. Because I feel like putting them in an alternate universe that's a world of wonder
Mm-hmm.
makes them stand out because they're not going to have to compete with what that would look like in the MCU.
Yeah. Okay. Do we want to just address it now, since we're talking
The
Marvel stuff?
the Downey of the situation,
Yes, the doom in the room.
the doom in the room. Yeah, man, you can go first. I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Okay. Um.
Where were you when you heard it? How did it make you feel? All
Jesus
that
Christ, where
jazz.
where was I when I heard it? I know I was at DreamCon. I think I was like walking around, and then my phone notifications on IG were like blowing the fuck up. Um, like you were messaging me, the group was messaging me, other friends were messaging me, family was messaging me.
Oh wow, yeah, it was
Like
big. It was
this
big.
shit was everywhere. It rocked my night off. Like I told you before we started recording, a good friend of mine from college, uh, who we'll talk periodically about like Marvel shows and stuff like that. And God bless him and his spouse. They're deciding to watch through the MCU in chronological order, leading up
Goodness.
to Secret Wars. I don't know why they would feel compelled to, but I respect their journey. Um, and he called me, and I'm like, oh, he never calls. What is everything okay? And he's like, so I assume you heard the news. We talked for like 2 hours. I was late going out because of that conversation. Um, so my opinion of it is, I was a lot more vitriolic to it initially. Same with like Ben Affleck being cast as Batman. Like there's a lot more hostility to it until the thought of it settled in. So not only are the Russo brothers returning for Secret Wars and Doom Dynasty, it looks like, but then
Doomsday.
Doomsday. Sorry, yeah, you
Combine
right.
those there. Doom Dynasty.
Doom's Dynasty. That was the name that people were pitching for a minute. Um, but also the RDJ would be returning as Victor Von. Sorry, he'd be returning to the MCU as Victor Von Doom, and he came out saying, "New
New
mask, same
mask, same
task."
task.
Um, Initially, I was like shocked, appalled, confused, conflicted, and ultimately kind of against it.
Okay.
As I've settled now, it's settled more into a state of like cautious optimism, where on the one hand, I know RDJ has the range to play a character with like depth, nuance, things like that. Um, my concern is about, and this is really going to come down, I think, to a writing too, just as much as performance, is how they're gonna introduce, design, and then maintain the characterization of Doom. It's not that I don't think he can do it, but I do a little bit see it as a bit of a missed opportunity, because Marvel is usually, and to some extent still is, pretty good about putting new faces to the forefront or to the spotlight. Like, Iron Man was just a whole redemption for RDJ, especially if you follow the book. I need to finish it, but it's really like interesting when they talk about his story. But people like, a lot of names that we wouldn't know now had they not been from Marvel: Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, Chadwick Boseman, Tom Holland, Iman Vellani. For some people, my girl that plays Monica, is like Dominique Thorne to some. So it's like, yeah, they have big names. You got your Brie Larsons, you got your Sam Jacksons, that are like, even girl from like Seinfeld, or just like the guy from Winter Soldier. But then you got names and faces that people aren't as familiar with, like Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie. So it seems like a little bit of a step back. It's a very safe decision, and but then again, doing Doomsday is also kind of a safety choice, especially given they were gonna. I'm surprised they went with Kang to do Secret Wars initially, because if it's the Secret Wars I'm thinking of, that specific Secret Wars was about Doom. That's Secret
I
Wars
think both of them
2015.
involve Doom.
They probably, well, so there's three Secret Wars.
There's
If
three of
it's,
them?
yeah, there's Secret Wars 1, Secret Wars 2, and Secret Wars 2015. But I think you are correct that at least two of them involve Doom. I know for sure the one from 2015 does, because that's God Emperor Doom. So
Mm.
if he's doing like God Emperor Doom for Secret Wars through Doomsday, cool. But it's like what I'm personally hoping for, especially given they had multiple people in cloaks come up, is that Doomsday, like on the one hand, those could easily be Doom bots. That could be what that's implying. What I'm kind of hoping is what they were hopefully going to do, and maybe should have done with Kang Dynasty, but didn't, and it is what it is now. Like Doom variants, so Council of Doom, essentially, because there's a lot of hope, me included, for like a Council of Reed, maybe having Miles Teller be the maker. It's like a lot of fun things you can do with that. But Secret Wars, you could do a Council of Doom, and you could introduce like a prime Doom, and then have RDJ as like a villain Doom who extends between these two projects, and then we have one going forward with this new Fantastic Four. I don't know. Even us discussing it now, it's a hurricane of just thoughts, but mostly feelings of not being 100%. And I think it's just because it takes the risk out of the future, and it feels very much like the nuclear option. Like when I was talking to my friend, I, I feel like Kevin Feige called the red phone in Downey's house, and Downey was like, "What happened?" like, like, like Feige has Downey's direct number, but there's a phone where it's like, "This means we need you. Something happened." And it's where does that lead you back to me? So it can work. I'm you know Russos have had success with these before, but I feel about this similar to how I feel about the announcement of a Toy Story 5. You have done it right many times before. You've done it right 4 times before. And but it's gambling. You are gambling it is high risk, high reward. It's a big gamble. I think all 4 Toy Story movies are fantastic. I didn't want a fifth one, but we're getting a fifth one. you know? So it's like the Russo brothers are coming back, RDJ is coming back. It could pay off. Last one's made $1 billion, but there's a chance it could crash and burn catastrophically, the likes of which that we haven't seen before. And that part makes me incredibly nervous. So again, these are fictional characters in a world that like I have yet to be able to dabble in, but it's just like I don't know. To be a fly on the wall at those meetings, I think would have been fascinating. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on it? I'm all over the place with this.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, where was I when I heard the news? Because Comic Con was the weekend I was moving. So I was here at this house. I was moving, and no. I think I was in Irvine. I was moving with my family, and I heard it, and I freaked out because I was like, "What? Downey is Doom?" And then I didn't know if he was like playing a variation of Tony is Doom, and then I found out he was playing Victor Von Doom. And at first, I was just in shock, and then I started hearing a myriad of opinions about like, "Oh, this is a terrible idea. Like, this is crazy." But I thought it was kind of a stroke of genius for them to pull that option for a couple reasons. One,
Mm-hmm.
whether you agree or you disagree, for years now, people have said the MCU has fallen off, right? I know there's multiple reasons for that being possible. One being
Yeah.
Bob Chapek ordered a slew of shows to be shows and films to be put into production and released
Mm-hmm.
without Bob Iger there, Kevin Feige not really having the controller say that he used to, resulting in a lot of properties that were either not done from a writing perspective or from a production perspective, which caused them to release subpar product. And once you release so many subpar products in a row, that diminishes faith in your brand. Not only does it diminish faith in your brand, but because you are releasing so many products in such a short amount of time, it now gives the illusion that you're now not giving space to the characters that we want to follow because there's so many projects, and because there are so many things produced in such a short amount of time. It now becomes inside baseball, and not everybody can keep up with both the shows and the movies, and that's why the combination of those two factors are the reason why things are bombing critically and now financially. You take a big risk with Ant Man and Quantumania that fails for you. I think it did decently financially, but critically, people were not fucking with it.
Did it?
I don't know. You can challenge me on that. I don't remember.
No, no, that's not a challenge. I just,
No, no,
I
I
legit
genuinely
that
don't.
was surprised.
I was
I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
no,
Go ahead.
I am curious though if you want to look that up. But
Yeah, I'll look it up. I'm giving you the floor.
okay. So with
Oh,
that,
it didn't.
with
It
that,
did bad.
oh woof. With that,
It's
yeah, and then I think
326 budget, 476 box office.
oh man. So you also have what releasing that following was the Marvels, which also did bad. You had Marvel's first show get rotten. You had Eternals do poorly. These are all things that happened post Endgame, which was 2019, right? So with only audiences really showing up the way they used to with event films like Endgame, like No Way Home, like Deadpool and Wolverine, you need something and someone to restore faith in your brand. And what better way to do that than if your original plan failed with your villain, like a Kang, right? Even though you got a phenomenal actor who's problematic at at best.
We can agree. We can
We can
agree to
agree.
that.
Yeah. So
God damn. Sorry, I just looked at the one for the Marvels.
yeah, no, it was rough. So I feel like, you know, with the Russos returning, with Downey returning, I feel like they wouldn't do this unless they had a strong why. And I think you're right. I think it is safe, but it's also incredibly risky. It's the safest, riskiest move I think Marvel
Hmm.
Studios has made to date because on one hand, you're getting somebody you know brings box office, you know brings attention. On the other hand, you run the risk of tainting not only the MCU's legacy by bringing back your most popular core actor, but you ruin the legacy of your studio, the legacy of that actor, and the legacy of the directors who've made some of your most profitable films. That being said, these are the directors, these are the writers that have made some of your most popular financial and critical successes within your franchise. And it's never a mistake to hire talent. And it goes back to a conversation we were talking about before we started filming, to the fact that the MCU has 30 plus movies and a handful of memorable villains. One of those villains
Hmm.
being Thanos. Who is behind Thanos? The two dudes that are directing this new phase of Avengers movies, Secret Wars and Doomsday. And why are those two films so successful? Because they made Thanos a character first, and the other Avengers that we know, the opposition to the main character that is Thanos. And you don't bring Robert Downey Jr. back unless you're going to make him a character worth playing. You don't disrespect the legacy of Doctor Doom, who is notorious as one of the best Marvel villains, as one of the most threatening, the most smart, and most uh, even though it's most synonymous with Fantastic Four, he is a universal villain. And you
Hmm.
get an actor who is now coming straight off of an Oscar to represent that villain, the guy who started your franchise. And let's face facts, nobody was really checking out for the MCU like that. I know multitudes of people that have
A
not
lot of
watched an
people have
MCU
fallen off.
project in years. And
I'd agree with you. Most people have fallen off since Endgame, and like you said, the only times they really come back are the event films, like No Way Home and Deadpool and Wolverine. I agree with you.
exactly. And I feel as though, one, Robert Downey Jr. is such a diverse actor. Two, you're not going to
Mm.
bring him back unless you have something meaty for him to play. Now, the question is, are they doing a variation of Tony Stark, like a lot of people think they are? Are they actually doing Victor Von Doom? I feel like they are actually doing Victor Von Doom. And it's going
They
to be
introed him as Victor Von
yeah,
Doom.
I feel
So,
like there's
but
going to be
I'm
parallels
guessing
to
that it's
Stark.
a yeah. I think it'll be a very because I've definitely heard I'm sorry to cut you off. I've heard some theories where people are like, "Oh, what if it's a version of Tony that got picked up by the Von Dooms?" I'm like, "No, just make him a European." It's like that's way too convoluted and unnecessary. Just make him European. It's not like Downey hasn't played European before.
He's literally
He was
played Sherlock
Sherlock fucking
Holmes.
Holmes.
Exactly.
He was Doctor Doolittle. Like it's not like he hasn't done it before. He was a black guy.
Utilize this man's diverse talents and make him an
Yeah,
incredible villain.
this motherfucker can be anything at this
You
point.
don't need Tony Stark to make a great villain. Robert Downey Jr. made that character
Duh.
famous, but Robert Downey Jr. has is a talent in and of itself. Granted,
Yeah.
those characters are now synonymous in pop culture with one another, but I feel like just because lightning struck once doesn't mean it can't strike again. Maybe I'm an optimist. Sue me if I am, but I feel as
And I,
though
mhm.
it's because this is something that not only, if successful, could revitalize the MCU financially, because literally everyone and their mom was talking about this when no one was talking about the MCU prior to this. Not really, not outside of the nerds and people that and fucking a. It's been, and maybe does this continue to play on the nostalgia thing that's been going on in the MCU? Yeah, yeah, it does. But I think that it could be, if done right. I don't know, because we think Marvel's desperate, right? And let's just face facts. They are. Let's, in desperate times, call for desperate measures. You're gonna like
Yeah.
oh wow. I think it's a weird thing. Like, wow, this is a desperate move by Marvel. Nigga, they are desperate. What the fuck are you talking about? You haven't watched a Marvel movie in like 4 years. Yeah, of course it's desperate.
Yeah, it's like Marvel's didn't do well, Quantumania didn't do well. The fact that Deadpool and Wolverine hit a billion, and we'll go into more detail about that in a second, but it's just like that is a testament to its quality.
Yeah, you
But
get
it's like
mad at
but
them for
the
doing this shit, but you also showing up for the fact they did the shit. So like, what the fuck you talking
yeah, so it's like you can't be too mad at them because I'm like, well, here's the thing: the times they've done it, they've done these like stunt moves. They worked. Now, granted, they trusted those teams behind them. Like I think what John Watts did with Spider-Man No Way Home, I would say is a bigger accomplishment than Deadpool and
about?
Wolverine, only because he's dealing with two different companies.
I agree.
Like with vastly different dreams and directions. So I will forever applaud him for pulling that off, and I respect him for taking a break from superheroes for a long time. Because I'm like, take a break. I don't know how the fuck you did that and made it entertaining and somewhat like plausible. Like, look, you were that was magic. Like, I love Deadpool and Wolverine. I think it's great, and we'll get to it in a moment. But it's like, yeah, but to your like you're saying, it's like, well, they wouldn't do it if y'all didn't show up for it. Like, I saw the Marvels, I saw Quantumania in theaters, I watched Secret Invasion.
A
You
lot
know,
of these
I
motherfuckers
saw
didn't.
Eternals. A lot of people didn't. They didn't give a shit. And you also haven't given them a reason to give a shit. You're still having all these issues with Blade.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what's going on with that. And the monkey's paw curled after this, but only one blade. If only gonna be one blade, like that finger curled, and it's like, well, that's a curse. It's been struck.
I really
But
think that was
like,
a joke. You like,
I know it was intended to be a joke, but I feel like it was like kind of one of those power of the tongue moments where somebody said something and it happened. And it's like, oh, it can't get any worse, and then it gets worse. I feel like it was one of the like a manifestation by accident. I don't think he intended it to be that way, but
hell, maybe if they get
no,
desperate
it's
enough, they'll
just.
bring him back too.
I mean, shit, he might be pop up in Secret Wars. Who knows?
You never know. You can pop out of
But
niggas.
yeah, it's like the Downey thing. It's like, yeah, I think he has the talent. Look, he's the only white man that's escaped blackface.
True. Facts.
The same year he did Iron Man.
Yeah. In modern times, yeah, he's the only one that escaped and got away with it.
Right. Like there was an author that tried to go into blackface to like understand the black experience because that makes some sort of fucking sense. And like he caught shit for that. And this was last year,
Oh, wow.
maybe earlier this year.
Oh, wow.
Had a whole book and everything.
I did not hear about this.
Yeah, it was like a Canadian journalist. It was some ridiculous, goofy shit. But Robert Downey Jr. pulled it off because he understood what he was doing and like the purpose of it and respected the culture. Also, his makeup artist did a damn good job. I
Also,
hate to say.
I want to say, I've seen a lot of motherfuckers speculating about like, oh, maybe they're gonna do like Superior Iron Man, or like maybe they're gonna do the Demon in Armor story. I just want
Or
to
don't do
say,
that.
shut the fuck up. You don't know what the fuck these people are gonna do. You don't know what the fuck
We
they have in
don't.
mind. Just because you have a million comic books doesn't mean they're gonna fucking pull from one story or another. This is an adaptation. They're gonna pull from many different sources and make their own version of this character. Thanos isn't the exact Thanos from the comics. And if you've watched these movies by now, you
It's kind of for the
know
better for it because he's
exactly.
not courting death
They're better
anymore.
for it. They take what works, they adjust it to what their story needs,
Yeah.
and then advance upon that. And then if you've watched these fucking movies, you know that they never do straight up adaptations of these characters. Have most of them not worked? Sure, but we have Killmonger, who's not an exact Killmonger that we have in the comics. He's the
Arguably
what
better than the comic version
better
to
than
an
the
extent.
comics, exactly. It's
Nakia is very different from her comic version, and she's arguably a little better too. Now, granted, I would not have minded Lupita Nyong'o playing a ex-girlfriend of T'Challa that is obsessed with him and is willing to kill other people for him. That's just me though, because I know she has the range to do that. I would very much be intrigued to see where that story would have went, but
and
what they did is more tasteful.
yeah, and listen, this next part, I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. There's not going to be another Doom after this. Is Doom. Robert Downey Jr. is Doom. They're not going to be like, okay, we're going to do this Doom until we get the real Doom. No,
I don't
this
know, man.
is
They
the
might.
Doom. This is.
You think they're gonna do the same thing with Wolverine, or is he gonna be doing this till he's 90?
I think he's going to be in Secret Wars, and I think Feige said there's going to be their own version of Wolverine. But I think it's a different scenario though, because that's an actor playing the same character. This is a guy playing another version. This is a guy playing a new character.
A different character.
Exactly. And if you're using this character, it let's presumably say he's going to be in three movies, right? Let's say he's going to be in
Okay.
Fantastic Four, he's going to be in Doomsday, and he's going to be in what's it called? Secret Wars. Typically, typically villains aren't in more than one, maybe two movies, right?
Mm,
The only person who's escaped this trope or this thing is Loki. He's been in multiple things because he's become more of a
right.
person. He's become more of a supporting character.
His popularity helped carry that a lot.
Exactly. Doom is he's going to be something that starts off in the Fantastic Four, but they're going to cement his status within the cinematic universe as a Avengers level threat rather than just a Fantastic Four level threat. He's going to start off that way, but it's going to be cemented as a Thanos level threat. And I feel like if they were to bring him back for a Fantastic Four sequel, it would that because I feel like you can do one thing in comics that you
So
can't do in
yeah,
film because you can't bring him all the way to the height of your universe and then bring him back down to like individual level. Because imagine they do that with Thanos, right? Like, oh, Thanos is like the guy everyone has to go against, but we're gonna put him in an Ant-Man movie as the villain there. Like, you're now diminishing the stakes of what you established his character to be. So cinematically, that wouldn't
to,
work for him to be used down the line because you put him at the pinnacle of what a threat should be.
but also and two things are coming to mind as you say that. One is I do agree. I think he's going to be Doom through through those three, like cameo in F4, Doomsday obviously, and then Secret Wars is like a core force. Um, Two things you run into. One, because I don't think he'll be Doom beyond that. And I do think it's because of what you said is they are going to make him at Thanos level 3, which he has been. He was that in like uh Secret Wars 2015. He was God Emperor Doom. He ripped Thanos' spine out of his back and shit. It was pretty cool. Still a loser, but like it took a collaborated effort of a lot of different heroes and teams to take him down, including the Fantastic Four. One, budget. Robert Downey Jr. is fucking expensive. A good chunk of that budget will just be to paying him to be there. Hopefully he has the mask on more times than he doesn't, but you're not paying for RDJ just for a voice. It
Maybe
is
we
what it
get
is. It
maybe
just
we get a Bane situation. Like He'll act through his eyes, like his voice and his eyes
I
will
mean,
performance.
he has stage presence. He knows how to act, so I'm not worried about performance. But one is budget. Two is, and I think part of what you're speaking to is I can't, like you said, you can't really escalate and then de-escalate with. I don't think you can competently do it with that, which I think is a shame for some of the Fantastic Four fans that would want to see them have just a story with Doom, but you've already done basically Doom at his zenith. So, and it's not like they don't have other villains. They have, you can do like
Mole Man.
Counselor yeah, Mole Man, Counselor Reed's the Maker, but they're already starting with Galactus, which is really fucking big. Which probably in Galactus incursions. Yeah, this is leading right into Doomsday and Secret Wars. But it's like for the sequels
Now,
following that because I imagine they're probably going to want to get squeeze a trilogy out of this,
my
like they do
question.
with most of their movies. Is um yeah, so it's like I guess you'll never get a full Fantastic Four versus Doom movie, and I think a lot of people would want that.
Well, we don't know how much of Fantastic Four he's going to be in. They just started filming. We don't know where Downey is right now.
I just think he's going to be a cameo because I don't think because he doesn't seem like he's a major role. It's
We
like
don't
he's going to
know.
be your post. At best, I'm thinking he's only a post credit scene.
Well, did you hear
I
that?
don't
Did
think he
you
will
see
have.
that interview that with Downey that came out today? Because Kevin Feige and Downey were having conversations as they started conversations like a year ago about him coming back.
Yeah, that must have been their contingency plan where it's like, look, if depending on how this Majors case goes, are you in or because Downey could have said no.
Yeah, but
He
he
could
really came
have
back for
like
the
turned it down.
Russos, his relationship with the Russos, and
Yeah, it's like that and his goodwill with like probably Feige and Favreau and them, which I'm glad. I'm glad he has that. You know. Um but that's also like to your point, it's like you're bringing him back cuz these are going to be some big ass event movies. It'll work. I mean, even us discussing this almost a month later and it's still fucking insane news to this extent, you know.
yeah, I
Is and just like
I think in an ideal world, it would have been nice to get like a Fantastic Four movie where like he's support, and then a Fantastic Four movie where he's the villain, and then go into him being big bads. But that's just not.
that's what I would have wanted,
Yeah.
but that's not going to be what I mean. They're starting with Galactus.
But now I'm curious as to if we're gonna get like the Batman situation where Doom is the villain. They've already fought by the time because in the Batman he's already fought the Joker, and then they're having that conversation in prison. So I wonder if
Yeah.
Doom's already around, like as an antagonist. Because I want to say that in this movie, the Fantastic Four is already like established as the Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this is someone who's already part of their like lexicon or whatnot. So then he escapes and then
Mm-hmm.
does what he does. And I feel like because
Well, and I'm
he's a
wondering what
big
they're going
level
to do with
threat.
Mutation Saga because we know that's going to be what's next is going to be the Mutant Saga and the soft reboot.
I genuinely feel like we're gonna get like a Crisis on Infinite Earths, and this whole multiversal saga was
Yeah,
literally a.
it's a palate cleanser.
It's not only a palate cleanser, but it's now we've created a narrative reason to now have the X-Men and Fantastic Four in this universe, and I want to say that
Exactly.
we're gonna be returning to like maybe not fully, but like we're gonna be largely becoming what Marvel was represented as in the '90s, where like who are their flagships?
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic Four, the X-Men, Spider-Man,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and like we've now done like almost a full circle because there's so much landscape to mine with those characters and those worlds that those are going to be the flagships of what the MCU is going forward. And now we'll do
Yeah.
like God, you know what sucks? The fact that they fucked up Dark Phoenix twice. So I don't know if we can ever do that story again.
Not for a long, long time.
Yeah. You gotta build to it
Not for a long,
properly.
long time.
Like
Yeah, which is, I mean, it's fine. It's not the only X-Men story they have, but it also means that like you probably won't see Days of Future Past for a while, and we probably won't see Apocalypse for a while either.
Yeah.
Granted, you could do those again, but I just think it's a little
Maybe they'll
too.
do Onslaught.
Jesus fucking
I mean,
Christ!
we now know they can do
Well,
Bastion. You know, I know Kevin Feige is.
you're right.
Yeah.
That I but well, that's what I
And
thought they were going to
you know
do
what
in
I'm gonna
'97
bet
at some
money.
point. I thought they were going to do Onslaught in '97. I'm like, y'all have some balls on you, don't
I'm
you?
gonna put money on this now, and we're gonna watch the tapes back like fucking years later when they finally release an X Men movie. I'm gonna say their
Hmm.
first MCU X Men villain proper is gonna be Mister Sinister.
I'll be with you on that one. I'll stand with you on that one.
Yeah, 'cause that's the
I'm trying. I'm
one
trying to
major
think.
X Men villain we haven't seen yet.
And I think that's what they're trying to do. I mean, because that's what they did with all the Spider-Man movies. They took the villains from canceled Spider-Man movies and just made them the villains for the new ones.
Yeah,
Aside from Black Cat, that was the only one they didn't get to, which I think that's what they're going to set up for
which is
four.
fucking wild. We've had this many Spider Man movies and no Black Cat. That's insane to me.
We almost got, who was it? The Vultress. Thank God that one didn't go through. That was supposed to be Anne Hathaway, but she wound up doing uh Dark Knight Rises. um,
Isn't it a shame that we
but it's
wasted
like,
Carnage on Woody Harrelson?
isn't it a shame they wasted Sydney Sweeney on Madam Web?
True. Damn.
Because you know that those white boys would have been in a tizzy to see her in like a cat suit licking Tom Holland's face or some shit.
What's the matter, Tiger? No, that's MJ. We can't do that. Zendaya's already.
That's another waste. We didn't get redheaded MJ, but hey, look, when dreams say dreams. That's just me
Maybe
nitpicking.
her in
But
college will do it. Maybe she'll dye her hair red in college.
I hope so. Give her some red braids, bro.
Mm.
You know, she can have natural hair or some some locks, some yarn locks or some shit. That'd be cute. Zendaya looks good with, I mean, just about any color, but she looks good with red hair. But yeah, Mutation Saga is I'm almost for certain what's coming next. That's gonna be my, I guess, curiosity is how do you scale down for the Fantastic Four unless you, oh wait, they're not. You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna do Future Foundation.
Mm. I mean, yeah, they already established that. At least, like,
I think
what it
they're
looks like.
establishing they already have kids.
You think so?
I, th- I thought they confirmed that this version will already have had kids. I could be wrong. I could very much be wrong. Maybe
I
at the
think
end, but it's like
they
you
want to just get the foundation of the four down first before introducing the kids. Maybe in the sequel.
maybe. So maybe that'll be it. But I could see them doing, like, yeah, first steps, establish them, universe, all that. But then it's like I think the only way you scale back is like either new challenge, which would be parenting and superheroing. So it's like family business, and then like expansion, which would probably be Future Foundation. So that might be the third one.
I'm curious how they're going to do this. Well, I guess in two. One, in the crossover movie, but two, once the universes are melded, how are you going to bring a transatlantic 60s Fantastic Four to a modern day MCU?
I don't know. Ask Captain America why he wasn't racist.
But,
Gave
like,
gave him a book and some time.
I mean, I guess that's the fine comparison. Was like, yeah,
the
yeah,
the
yes, chum. What's this? A cell phone? You guys are so primitive here. Like,
Cap's gonna be looking like finally somebody who understands me. Oh no, the real one's gonna be how does Sue gonna react to Namor? Because she's down for the brown.
she is down for the brown. And then,
Like she be flirting with T'Challa and Namor all the
yeah,
time.
she
I'm
got
like, meanwhile, Reed's over here tinkering with some shit. It's like, bro, you ain't gonna get your girl. It's like, no, I have
she's
science
down
to
for the
tend
brown.
to.
She got her Chilean husband, and she got her.
She got Chalea husband, and then a flying Mexican dude comes around with a speedo, dick literally in the wind, just.
Could you imagine Reed
Oh,
Richards?
me llamo Namor. And it's like, oh damn, this nigga's sexy as hell.
Could you imagine Reed Richards trying to seduce Sue in like transatlantic Spanish?
Hola, me llamo Reed. Yo soy Trey Bella. God, that made it so much worse. Jesus. And Reed would be the one to know like 100 different languages too. He's a nerd like
Oh
that.
yeah. I'm really curious about what they're gonna do with the Thing, like Evan Rack.
Moss Backrack.
Yeah,
It's a hard ass name. Yeah, it's a good question. What the fuck are they gonna do
I
with
wonder
him?
if it's gonna look comic accurate. I mean, that's gonna be cool.
I mean, I don't know how you're gonna beat Michael Chiklis in that fucking live action suit. That was just the Thing straight out the comics.
I mean, you look at that silhouette. I mean, he's gonna be a lot bigger than everybody else. He's gonna be bigger and
Yeah,
taller.
he's a tall dude.
Yeah, he's bigger. He's taller than Pedro. He's the tallest of them,
Which
which is great.
yeah, good
Already,
on him. Doesn't matter note before we get to the last one. Did you see the Doom crossover for Fortnite? Like Absolute Doom?
I did. Yeah, where the Thing is the chair, and then Miss Fantastic is the ball.
Dog.
That was hard.
Johnny's heart was a lamp, and then there's just a glass case that says Sue. I'm like, what? This is the darkest shit I've ever seen Doctor Doom do. Watched him rip a spine out of a genocidal maniac's back, but then just like having them on display is some diabolical. Like he turned them into furniture.
The Thing is the chair is
That's
crazy
some
work.
evil shit.
The Thing at the chair is crazy work. You're just sitting on this man. Like, is he still alive as a
Johnny,
chair? Like, is that his carcass? Like, I don't know what the fuck you did.
I think that's his carcass. Like that's just his body carved into a chair.
But I thought you have to break him down and as rocks and reform him into a chair if that's the case.
I think that's what happened.
God
And
damn.
put his drawers on it as a seat cushion.
Which is so cool.
Yeah, it's like that's weird. I mean, Reed as a ball is just kind of hilarious. But Johnny's heart just burning constantly is crazy. But it's like the Thing one is bad, and then the Sue one is like creepy.
Yeah, what the fuck's in
Because
there?
we don't know.
We don't know what
It's
part.
just like a chair and a glass case that says Sue. It's like, what the fuck? Keeping her in a box. Like I think the only thing that would make it worse is if you hear like light thumps from it
Oh, she's
every
just
now and
still
then.
alive
That'd
in
be some
there.
spooky shit. Just like a
Just perpetually invisible as his like little plaything, like his memorabilia.
that would be some evil shit.
Yeah, that'd be fucked up.
Do you want to talk about any other D23 stuff? You got a lot of random shit, Tron Ares with 9 Inch Nails, Snow White footage that reminded me that Yin Yang Twins didn't create Will Swallow work. Mufasa trailer. Yeah, did a bunch of other stuff.
Incredibles
And was it
3.
Incredibles 3?
That's cool.
Zootopia 2, Frozen 3,
Alright.
uh Alio.
This reminds me of that one TikTok. Oh, oh, that's sweet. Oh, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's sweet. Moana 2, I guess.
Alright.
Avatar Fire and Ash,
Oh,
Freakier Friday.
oh.
There's one more,
We had to say it for what
Mandalorian and
Stitch is gonna
Grogu.
look like now for the live action.
Which, yeah, um, there's one other thing that I forgot. Oh, Toy Story 5.
You know
Yeah.
what the fuck I would have actually lost my shit for?
What?
If they announced in theaters, not on Disney Plus, Goofy Movie 3.
Yeah, I would have probably stood up and done a flip. I showed my partner the first Goofy movie. Like they had never seen it, and I'm like, oh babe, you got to see it. It's a black classic. And like what? I'm like, yeah, because Goofy's black, and it's like Goofy's not black. I'm like, babe, you haven't seen the movie, you wouldn't know. So I showed him the movie, and by the end of it, I'm like, what'd you think? It's like, it was good. It was a nice little family film. It was very black. I'm like, I told you Goofy was black. And then I showed him Extremely Goofy movie, which is still hilarious, and they're still black to me.
I have not seen those movies in a long time. I would love to rewatch them.
First one aged great. Second one aged fine.
Okay.
It's not bad at all, but it's just like it's a straight to DVD movie, like it always was.
Yeah. Because it is technically Goofy too. Did they play Goofy 1 in theaters? I don't remember.
I don't know. Were we alive?
When did the Goofy movie come from? You want to guess, or are you looking it up?
I'm gonna guess 1993.
For the original Goofy movie?
Yeah, for the original.
Is that your final answer?
Yes,
Do you want to guess the date?
it's probably 97.
Do you want to guess the date?
March.
Hmm. Oh, I think it did go to theaters. Okay, March what?
Oh shit. Huh?
March what?
Of what year?
Yeah,
I'll say 93. March of
March
93.
'93. Do you have a date,
Yeah.
like a specific date?
Like like a day. I don't know. Fucking whatever that the
Just pick it.
third the third weekend in
No, you
March.
have to pick a specific date, like March
Okay, the 25th.
March 25th, 1993.
Yes.
That is incorrect.
I figured. What is it?
It's April 7th. 19...
Oh shit. Wait, April 7th of what year?
1995.
Okay. I got scared. I was like, nigga, if I missed it off by a
Nigga,
week.
that movie came out almost seven, no, not 7 days. It came out a little under 2 weeks before I was born. That's fucking
It
crazy.
came out yeah, it came out 6 months before I was born.
Wow.
Small
That
world.
movie is older than
All
us,
right.
but still had a box office. But I would love to for a sequel. Yeah, give us a 30-year sequel, please.
Yeah. I like that cast. I'd like to see him return. You know, we ain't heard Max Goof and shit since House of Mouse.
Yeah, but then you get they're gonna get what's his name? They're gonna get Lin Manuel Miranda to write the music for it.
Oh God. Get me out of
You already
here.
know.
Let me out of this
You already
trap.
know that's what they're about to do.
What did he get announced to be doing soon that people started rolling their eyeballs at? It was Mufasa. New songs for Mufasa by Lin Manuel
Of course,
Miranda. Which I'm like, well, people gonna be pissed about this.
I didn't hate his songs in the Little Mermaid.
I didn't hate him either. People hate my partner hated Scuttlebutt. I thought it was all right. The worst one to me was the song that the Prince had to do. I'm like, if you don't get discount Harry Styles out of here,
I
unnecessary ass
don't
song.
even remember.
I mean,
Now, didn't Sebastian have a song?
I think so.
I don't remember.
That wasn't
Was it not Scuttlebutt?
Under the Sea. No, Scuttlebutt was the bird.
Oh right, yeah, that was.
Where Aquafina was like sing rapping, the scuttlebutt, the scuttlebutt. What's the word? The word, the bird, the word, the bird you heard. What's up, the scuttlebutt?
That was the most Lin Manuel Miranda song.
Right, you could hear the the Lin Manuel Miranda isms
Of
in it.
course. Oh yeah. But I think
Okay,
we did.
let's do Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think we did all the news. All right, let's get into Deadpool and
Yes.
Wolverine.
Okay. Um. Okay, we're at the end, the final
We did
stretch.
it.
We did it, Joe. Damn, that's a piece of news we didn't talk about, but fuck it.
Crazy.
Uh. So I've only seen it once. I keep making plans to see it again,
Same.
but not having a chance to see it again because people like I want to see it again with somebody who hasn't seen it and no one's like schedule works with mine. So I've had plenty of chances to see it myself because I've seen Trap, I saw Longlegs, I saw Romulus. So I've had moments where I could have seen it. I just haven't yet. Again, it was very annoying. But suffice to say, I saw it the first time with my mom the night before I flew to DreamCon. We had a fantastic time. It was great.
Your significant other seen it yet?
No, but they're supposed to be seeing it with their friend, and I'm like, babe, I literally asked you if you wanted to see it. It's like, well, why didn't you take me to see it? So I literally dropped them and their mom off at the airport, and then took my mother to go see Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm like, We were you were in the sky. I literally dropped you off before I saw the movie. Like, don't fucking play in my face. So they're supposed to, I guess, be seeing it maybe this week. But if they don't, I'm gonna try and bully them to see it this weekend.
Okay, there you go. Get you
But
a second. I technically seen it 1.5 times. Meaning, I saw it. I went to go see it a second time, but I think I like tried to go to a late night showing, and I kind of was in and out of sleep. I kind of passed out during the movie.
that happened to me with Long Legs a little bit till Nicolas Cage yelled, and it woke me up for the last like 40 minutes. So it worked and woke my ass up real good. But no, I was thoroughly entertained. I found it to be a very a rollicking good time at the theater. I really don't take nearly as many issues with it as other people do, but maybe it's because I haven't seen it again. So maybe that's just like bias of having a fun time at the theater. You know, we all clapped and yelled at the parts where we were supposed to clap and yell, and we were sitting in the comfortable seats, and I had my sandwich, and that was good. So
So you were in a packed uh,
yeah,
crowd.
yeah. I was at a packed Alamo,
So
in I think the front row actually.
that'll do it. Yeah, because I feel like crowd experience definitely like enhances your experience of the movie. Not to say you don't enjoy the movie in your own right, but I feel like definitely the experience you have in association with that, and
Mm-hmm.
that plays a factor for sure. I went on opening night, but I there was like hella showings at my theater, so I
Mm-hmm.
didn't go to. I think I saw it like 8 p.m. No, I saw it like a 3 p.m. on Thursday, and my
Mm.
theater was not super rowdy. I was pretty sure I was able to hear most of, if not all, the jokes. Uh,
I heard we still heard all the jokes, but I definitely had some laugh out loud and shock sounds, throughout. Full spoilers for Deadpool and Wolverine, by the way, while we're talking about this. But
I think we had different experiences going in, not only in like our crowd participation, but
mm,
I did a rewatch of all of the Fox movies except for Dark Phoenix and Apocalypse. I'm talking
mm.
all the X-Men related movies, all the
Oh God,
Fantastic Four
yeah.
movies, Daredevil,
How was that for
Elektra,
you?
everything except for those.
Because I remember you texting me about Fan Four Stick and just like you're like, I don't see what the big deal is. The movie's not that bad. I mean, it starts pretty strong. There's some interesting character developments and motivations here. I'll let
It's
you
like
know.
Harrison Ford.
And then like 30 minutes passed, and I get, what the fuck is this?
How did it
What
go
is this
so
horse
wrong
shit? What
so
happened?
fucking
It got so bad so fast. It was the funniest. Like, what you have given me some of the funniest reviews of your experiences, specifically with these Fox movies, because it's this one, and then years back when Dark Phoenix came out, when we were on the YouTube channel. And I refuse to watch that movie because nothing will ever beat your description of the movie for 20 minutes, and I just die laughing. I will never watch that movie officially, but just because hearing you describe it to me was better than any cinematic experience could be sitting through that atrocity.
I have not watched it since, bro. I can't even tell you what it's about anymore. That was a rough movie, but I sat and survived Fan Four Stick. I was so mad. I was so flabbergasted. I started ranting on Instagram about it.
Which
I was like a
all I
12-part
rewatched,
story ripping this movie apart.
all I rewatched for Deadpool was Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2, and I was actually a lot sweeter on Deadpool 2. I still don't like the kid, but the rest of it, I'm like, damn, I forgot how like good this fight choreography was.
Yeah.
But then I remembered it was David Litch who did Bullet Train, and I'm like, oh, he's like really good at this. I forgot who directed this.
Yeah.
It's such a stark difference between like, and then going into Deadpool and Wolverine, I'm like, you can tell these were three different
Oh,
directors,
for sure.
but the teams behind it like cared.
Definitely.
Like the budgets were way different.
For sure. Yeah, I'll say that my experience of the movie was both enhanced and harmful because of my rewatch experience. Right?
You got psychological damage. It's like, why'd you make me remember this?
It
Fuck.
was a yeah.
Like,
Watching the
like Professor X just.
I remember when I was conflicted.
Kendrick going. I remember you was conflicted. This is the Akira scream.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. I remember you was conflicted. Aubrey.
Misusing the influence.
He starts going to the cartoons and cereal. It's Levy in the morning. Turning on the news. You had nothing to do. They said, don't be like me. I was watching cartoons. Ironic. Boo, 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 boo.
I fucking love. Oh man. So my experience of Deadpool and Wolverine was following a 14 movie rewatch. And that
Continue.
so I had all of the knowledge of the Fox franchise fresh in my head. And this movie was crowned to be the culmination and celebration of the Fox era of Marvel films, right? So,
Mhm.
ironically, the only not ironically, but the only movies I didn't watch, which weren't even part of the Fox, although could skip my radar, were the Blade films because
Mhm.
those are New Line Cinema, and
I was gonna say it's like, yeah, that's technically not Fox, but hey.
and to this day, I've still not seen the Blade films. So,
Oh, you're missing out on those first two. I like Trinity. Most people don't. It's not it's far from the best, but I found it entertaining enough. Ryan Reynolds plays the same character as he does in X-Men Origins Wolverine.
interesting. Okay.
He's basically Deadpool down to the sword, if I recall.
Oh wow. Okay.
He's um yeah. He's some OC. I think his name was like Victor
Hannibal.
Creed or something. Yeah, Hannibal. You're right.
Yeah. I know
How do you know
about the
that?
movie.
You didn't see the
Nigga, I
movie.
know shit about movies I've never seen. I'm just like, I'll pull facts. I was just like, what's that one? Mr. Popper's Penguins. Well, how the fuck do you know that? I was like, I don't know. I've never seen that movie. But I just, Jim Carrey,
Reminded me of the
2012. No, I'm just kidding.
God damn. Oh yeah, he had dual pistols, not swords,
Oh,
excuse me.
okay.
Ooh, so different.
But anyway,
So different from Deadpool.
so watching this movie straight off of my viewing experiences of X-Men and Deadpool, it was a double-edged sword because I was able to catch all the references to these other movies, right? Like all those
Mhm.
X-Men characters in the void. But so I kind of came in with a couple expectations. One, that it was a Deadpool and Wolverine movie,
Mhm.
meaning that they were two-handing this movie. Two, this is a culmination and celebration of all of the Fox movies. And three, that it would be a lot of fun. And I feel like it it met my expectations on one of those things. Now, it
I hope it was the last one.
was the last one. So
Okay, I was gonna guess maybe the first and third, but
no, but I still enjoyed the movie overall. Like,
mm.
it's very fun. I feel like it does a good job of emotionally. Okay, how do I say this? I think Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds' performances sold their motivations of what those characters wanted more than the writing and plot and execution of the plot did. Like,
Okay.
because like, okay, I really believed that Ryan Reynolds as Wade Wilson wanted to matter, wanted to save his family more
Mhm.
so than the film showing me why he wanted to do that, and more so than because we spent barely any time with them, and
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that I thought it was going to be a Deadpool and Wolverine movie. But before I get into that, I will say this is how I rank these three movies. This is how I put them in my head. I think Deadpool 1 is the best movie. I think Deadpool
Hmm.
2 has the most heart, and I think Deadpool 3 is the most fun. I think that's what I would categorize all three of those as.
I can. I, I, yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, yeah, I'd agree with that.
So I go into the movie.
Sorry, my brain was just like, yes, yes, yes. I'm finding it.
Like, yes, this checks out.
Hmm.
So I think that going into it, right, I was expecting it to be a Deadpool and Wolverine movie, but watching it, I found it to be Deadpool was driving and Wolverine was in the passenger seat, which is ironic because in the
I
literal
mean,
plot of the movie, it's reversed: Wolverine driving and Deadpool in
yeah,
the passenger seat. But I think nothing implements that more than the intro of the film, where it's Deadpool front and center with Wolverine's claws when the title Deadpool and Wolverine behind him, right? And I
indicative of things to come.
indicative of things to come. Now, I think another thing that really showcases that is the fact that Deadpool and Wolverine essentially want the same thing, which is they want to save their families. Except
Hmm.
Deadpool's motives or Deadpool's desire is preventative, whereas Wolverine's desire is restorative. The difference in those two,
Hmm.
though, is the fact that we get to see Deadpool's motivations and what he's fighting for, where we only hear about what Wolverine's fighting for. We don't actually get the chance to see that play out, which I feel is a disservice to the character and the film, with it being one, him being the co-lead, but two, it being a culmination of these characters and this universe, right? And I feel like it would have serviced the movie more had you seen those other X-Men. Like, you don't need to see a
I'd
lot of
agree.
them. You just need to see some of them. And also,
Or hear them.
or hear them. But I think seeing them really would have done that.
Yeah, it would have really sealed it. So apparently they didn't even ask, which I'm like, it's either budget or they're planning something.
Right. Now, there was a lot of I watched because I don't know. I'm like when I have ADHD. I'm neurodivergent, so when I'm really excited about something, I'll just like consume tons of content about it, like a fixation, right?
Mm.
So I watched a lot of interviews for Deadpool and Wolverine before the movie started, and a lot of them were talking about like the chemistry between Ryan and Reynolds um and Hugh Jackman and their relationship and why Hugh Jackman came back. And it was only after because he like was driving down like on Malibu, like pulled over and was like, "Yeah, I want to do this movie." And then I think later on, Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy were working out, and he sent them like a 17-minute long voicemail, like going over like plot questions, motivations, and essentially it came down to why this Wolverine? Why did we want to use this Wolverine for this film? And what it came down to ultimately, Hugh Jackman was pitching or like his reasoning, his reason why was like, I want to portray the worst Wolverine. I want to be the one
Mm.
hasn't who isn't noble or who isn't the hero that we know him to be, who's gotten down and dirty, right? And they say that in the movie that he's the worst Wolverine, but then when you hear what actually happened, some of that impact is lost because like I feel like you're talking a big game, you don't actually get to see it. And it wasn't the fact that he let the X-Men die; it was the fact that he went berserk and started killing humans. He
Right.
started killing innocent people and guilty people. Like he just lost it, went full off the reins, causing the mutant agenda, not mutant agenda, the mutant
Mutant genocide.
that they were fighting for to be pushed back or to lose momentum because um those who would have fought with them, he only proved the fact that mutants were dangerous. So like he set the movement back, right, by losing his temper, even though they were going to kill them anyway. I think it would have been to the surface of the movie and Hugh Jackman to see though him actually go berserker, actually kill some innocent people, and kind of go lose it a bit, you know. And I feel like the only person you really see him lose it on or show extreme violence towards is Deadpool in the film. And I feel like it goes back
Hmm.
to that thing we're kind of talking about earlier about characters not being shown in an ugly light. I know we're more talking about like minorities and villains, but I think it applies
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
well. I think if we live in a world where we can have characters like Walter White, if we can have characters like Barry Berkman and other
Hmm.
shows in media where they're our protagonists, where we still root for them, but they do things that we don't like, things that are ugly. I think that only adds and enriches the character because we want them to succeed in the face of their failures, in the face of their flaws. And I feel like if we live in a world where comic book characters are afraid, comic book films and studios are afraid to show these characters do things that are wrong, do things that are ugly, I think it's a disservice to the characters and the humanity because they don't allow them to be their fullest selves. I feel like that can create a
Hmm.
fuller experience if we give these characters the chance to show their darker moments and show them on the other side of redemption. Now,
Hmm.
I think that you can still have that and still balance the tone of being funny, but I feel like Wolverine and Deadpool are two totally different characters. And what makes that experience so special is the marriage of their two tones in a film that thematically or tonally shouldn't work, but finds a middle ground that does. Now,
Hmm.
if we're going to talk about the legacy of the Fox universe, I think for me, I didn't really get excited about seeing Elektra. Like I know a lot of people were excited about seeing Blade. I don't have the emotional tie to Blade. It's through cultural osmosis. I thought it was great seeing Channing Tatum as Gambit. X-23 should not have been there. She had no reason to be there. Other two sort of low dark.
Eh,
Listen to me. Let me.
I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you. I'm letting you. I'm letting you
I
have
don't
it.
think X-23 should have been there because one, Logan, this version of Logan doesn't know her. And I feel like if we're going to utilize a character for his arc, you can use ones that are not only more um honoring of the history of the comics, but more emotionally
It should have
resonant
been Rogue,
for
huh?
his character. What?
It should have been Rogue, huh?
It should have been Rogue and it should have been Cyclops for two reasons. One, those going back to my rewatch, those first two X-Men movies, he has a close relationship with Rogue. And if we're going by the
Hmm.
flashbacks that we saw when Cassandra Nova touched his head, that
Hmm.
he's at least lived the first two X-Men movies in
Yeah.
this guy, right? So it should have been Rogue for a couple of reasons. One, it would have given him a multiversal closure for letting his friends die, letting his surrogate sister die, and same goes for
Oh,
Cyclops.
just just like Victor Hargreaves.
Just like Victor Harker, exactly. Right.
There. Sorry. Go
Full
ahead.
circle.
It's circle back around.
But it also gives Rogue the chance to actually be cool because she now has the access like outside of the narrative of the film, but we now have the
Yeah.
ability to give her her power set that she has in the comics,
Hmm.
give that character a chance for redemption. Same thing goes with Cyclops. Allow James Marsden as Cyclops to actually be a leader. Plus Deadpool and Rogue, you can make reference to the history that they have because they are connected in the comics as well.
Hmm.
So that character would have ties to both of those people. And yeah, if you're going to have characters serve a as a medium or as a serve a story purpose for getting Logan to open up, to see that he's not his worst days, who better to do it than his fallen X-Men, the people who he perceived to have let down, right?
Hmm.
And I feel like Rogue, that's why Rogue should be there because surrogate sister, plus their relationship really never got a chance to have full closure or a proper send off. And I think it would have been nice to see those two actors together and
Hmm.
yeah, they just honor the legacy of those films that we saw, even if it's not the exact same version that we did see. Also, I think it would have nice to have seen Scott and Logan connect because I think they're two guys that I've always respected each other but never liked each other. And I think it would have been nice for
Yeah.
those two characters to get to that point with one another. Like I would love last time we saw Cyclops, other than Days of Future Past, was he was upset and like emotional over Jeans, and he went off to go fucking die and he killed her.
Yeah, he died by a lake.
He
He got blown to
died
smithereens.
by lake. Now, imagine seeing a Cyclops that's on the other side of grief, right? He's on the other side of his experience of Jean Grey, and they can
Hmm.
both kind of sit there as two men who've lost it all at the edge of the universe, who've now come to terms with what they've lost, and those two characters getting closure with each other and with their circumstances. Granted, you don't need a whole entire side plot to go over this stuff. Just something small, something light. Like just recognizing that there's history between these characters in the comics and in the films. And yeah, X-23 just does not belong in the void because she was a character. She wasn't a mistake. You know. Now, another thing I would have liked to have seen is Cassandra Nova tied in more um, thematically to what was going on between with Logan and with Wolverine. With Logan and with
Hmm.
Deadpool, because those two characters wanted to restore what they've lost, right? But I think Cassandra Nova should have been like the opposite, right? She wanted to gain what she never had. I think it would have been nice to have seen that. I think it would have been nice to thematically tie these characters to who never fit in, who were lost toys, who were searching for a purpose. If that were tied into the villain as well, searching for a purpose, searching for home, searching for family, and her feeling rejected her whole life is and operating from that place of pain is what guides her and what causes, even though she has the best intentions, is what pushes her to the story. I feel like still
Hmm.
have her do those cool things and fucked up things, but I feel like if you were tying your heroes and your protagonists to a thematic overture, I think it just makes your film stronger overall. Okay, that's the end of my rant.
No, I'm following you. Fuck.
Said a lot of things.
Yeah, I don't agree with none of that shit, big dog. I'm gonna keep it real.
You tripping, bro? Like that's
Nah,
crazy.
no, I mean, even thinking to like the critiques that you had of the movie, particularly with just like how it ties in, because it is functionally like a eulogy for that universe, even down to how they play out the credits. It is a unique mishmash of things.
So,
So
if you did want to
it and
honor
it
the legacy
uh-huh.
of the X-Men of the Fox universe, I think it could have been cool if they had their own. Maybe this is not the movie to do it, right? But just in
Mhm.
my brain, my one
Right.
a.m. fucking tired brain. I think it would have been cool if Deadpool and Wolverine against the Deadpool Corps had like their endgame moment where it's like these other variations of the Fox characters come to help them take down the Deadpools.
That's what we both thought was going to happen. Where like that whole time, even before they fought Cassandra Nova, I was expecting them to be like, time to call reinforcements, and then like lightning bolt, it's storm, and then like Jean floats over, and like here comes Scott with like the laser beam landing or some
And
shit,
Ben
and then
Affleck's
like Beast
Daredevil's
rolls
there
up.
too.
And Ben Affleck's Daredevil was there as well, or somebody wearing the suit dressed as Ben Affleck's
Exactly.
Daredevil.
Stunt doubles for the
So,
Four Stick and Fantastic Four.
which they did for most of the villains that they had there, down to having a black bullseye, hilariously.
I would have loved it
Um,
if he came back. That would have been so funny.
that
Colin
shit had
Farrell.
the this movie does have some of the funniest like BTS when you see it's like there are other villains from other movies there, but they're like played by, different actors. So it's like Toad was the same. I almost called him Flame On, whatever his fucking name was. Pyro. Pyro was the same.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple others were the same. But most of them were like stunt actors and performers and stuff. And God bless them, glad they're getting work. But it was funny where it's like, that's not Olivia Munn
Right.
as Psylocke. That's weird. Um, but no, for what you were saying about the cameos, I initially kind of gave a little grace where it's like, oh, maybe they couldn't get him, maybe it was a scheduling issue. No, they didn't ask. Which now I'm like, well, why didn't you do that?
They want to pay
Like,
him.
which I'm like, well, why the fuck not? I would have. Look, I'll donate some money. Like, I know part of it is already produced by Ryan and shit had a bunch of writers and was pretty successful. Which, yeah, it's like, I think X-23 is fine. Where she, I mean, I liked her in the movie. I hate the fact that that shit got spoiled for me from fucking trailers. Like, stop putting all the cool surprises in the trailers, at least for a couple weeks. But the biggest surprise out of me, honestly, was Gambit, just because like that's such a deep meta thing. It also clearly brought to my attention that most people have never heard of Nolan's accent before, and that's how Cajun people sound. So they've been unaware of that their whole lives. But like Elektra, we knew. Blade was a big surprise. Gambit was a huge surprise. He did really good. It was nice to see Wesley Snipes again.
You know what's funny? I had a feeling, and I, because I have a sense about these things, right? Like I remember
Mm.
back when Insecure was on, I spoiled it for my ex before it even came out. Like I was like, "Oh, Molly's gonna end up with that bald dude," before season 5 even came out.
That means you're getting way too hip to writing tactics
I
and
was
shit.
like, "Oh yeah,
Being
these
too
characters had tension for years. Yeah, she's gonna end up with that dude." And then it came. She's like, "Oh,
damn.
you," and she got to a point where we'd watch stuff. She's like, "No, don't guess shit. You're gonna get it right." And I was just like, "I'm sorry," but I felt
My bad.
my bad.
I noticed narrative patterns.
Exactly. So I remember I was sitting inside of Shake Shack, and me and my friend were kind of like talking and like about like because he did rewatches as well, and
Mm.
in my head I was thinking like I bet Channing Tatum and Gambit's going to show up in this movie, not because of any of the marketing, but because of one, this is Sean Levy and Ryan Reynolds in the last successful movie they had
Oh,
together.
that's right.
Channing Tatum
Yeah,
was
it was Free
also in
Guy.
it, and he
I
was
keep
great.
forgetting he was in Free Guy, and he was like a big part
I
of
was
that
just like,
movie.
it makes sense that he would be in it because directors like to work with people that they've worked with before. And yeah,
Yeah.
it made sense that, Chris Evans was in it as well as Johnny.
Yeah.
And it just made sense that Channing
That
Tatum would be
was
in
that
it.
was a fun one. They played us well with
They
that.
got me.
I'm like I'm like
The music
I'm like, oh
it was the
shit,
music
it's
cues.
Cap.
Yeah, it was him in the rap.
It was the music cues. It was the way it was shot. It was his costume design too, because they showed his lower half first, where it's like, oh, it's the belt. It's like a veteran Cap. That's crazy. It's like, oh, he's gonna say the thing. He's gonna say the thing. Avengers, flame on. It's like, what? I remember like my eyes just like, which I remember like we had conversations like, okay, hopefully they bring back like the classic Fantastic Four or some shit and like the X-Men and all that. So the fact that I got tricked is what annoyed me. Because it's like, I gaslit myself into thinking that it was like for clean forgetting. It's like, oh yeah, he was Johnny, and he was really funny as Johnny in this movie.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
great.
really, really Bostoning it up here. Um,
What did you think of Cassandra?
so all three Deadpool movies, unfortunately, have kind of weak villains. She was the funnest to me. She was clearly having a blast. Um, the consequences of her actions were like the biggest threat out of any of these
Hmm.
because they weren't personal. It was like, oh yeah, no, she would actually start fucking shit up if we let her out. But I understand what you mean about it being a little light in terms of her being motivated beyond destruction for destruction's sake, which is something I think you could maybe give to.
Because I felt like we never got to the root of the character. Because like she was
Yeah.
because she was like Charles wouldn't wanted to do this, and she let Deadpool and Wolverine go, and then she found out Homeboy was behind Pyro, and then she just all of a sudden like, okay, I'll destroy everything. I mean, but that's wanting to destroy everything is come from a place of pain. What's behind that pain? Wanting to belong, wanting to be accepted. And I'm like, okay, and I feel like
What I think that could also just be a issue with adaptation because some villains are written in comics as just like, you know, it's like, why are you doing this? Because I'm evil. And I think she's unfortunately maybe one of those that has gotten that historically. So they might have written her off a little bit. But to your point, I think that is a better way to execute that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I always wanted to belong. Oh well. And then like do it maybe that way. Where it's just like it's you can still have the core motivation be because I'm evil and I want to do this, but it could be inspired by it's like, yeah, I did always want to fit in, but I like power better than fitting in. So it's like she doesn't have to get that happy ending and she doesn't have to get a redemption. It could just be a case of like, oh, her backstory is a little tragic. I mean, and she casually mentions that Charles tried to kill her in the womb. I wish they showed us that. That would have been hilarious. But
I agree.
but yeah.
I agree. It would have been hilarious. Now,
But
another question I have for you is that
yeah.
there's been a lot of discourse about this movie saving the MCU. I have my own thoughts about that, but what do you think about that?
Okay.
Have you heard people say that, and what do you think about that?
I've definitely seen it out and about. So and I have to credit Blurred Without Fear about this. The thing is, it's not that the MCU needs saving. The MCU has always had a fluctuation in quality. This is just like it's just kind of standing out to you more because it's more so post pandemic, and people were still riding that high off of Endgame, and it's like, oh man, because that it's such a nice stopping point. But it's like, no, MCU has always had a fluctuation in quality. If you actually go back and look at those movies or rank them how you want. But do I think this is like the savior? No, but I do think it breathed a lot of nice, fresh air back into uh some things that work. I just hope they take the right lessons from it because this movie does excel in a lot of ways. Like it has really good fight choreography, good needle drops, good it has a good score. Its cinematography and is good. It's well lit. The costumes look great. The acting is very well done. But yeah, there's some notes you could do for like the writing. But if everything else is pretty good, and then your biggest critique is like, yeah, you could punch up the script a little bit or a couple more times, but the director had a vision and they saw it through, and the team had a good time working on it. Yeah, other than that, it's like okay, if the writing's the weakest, I can kind of survive because it still wasn't like terrible or bad when everything else was really really effective for me. But all right, what were we saying?
I don't think this saves the MCU. I think that because it's cheating, right? I
Yeah.
think this is Ryan Reynolds' project produced by the MCU, but
Mm-hmm.
this movie is not actually inside of the MCU. It's part of the multi.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. The void is this thing that allows legacy properties to be within the MCU, within the Marvel Studios, but not within the universe. It's part of the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse, sure, but not in
Mm-hmm.
the MCU. The only thing in the MCU actually is that one scene with Happy Hogan in the beginning, which doesn't play any sort of effect. I feel like for something to be to save the MCU has to do one of two things, or ideally both. It has to be within the timeline of what our experiences of the cinematic universe, and it has to be consistent in quality for at least four properties. I feel like that is when people will perceive the MCU to be something worth engaging in again.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that where my point was just that it does a lot right. There's also some things that you could critique with it, but it's like no, I think it's a breath of fresh air. I think after a couple not as well received projects or just like a little bit of inconsistency in terms of like the quality of expectations. So it's like, yeah, it's an event. I think it reinvigorates people a lot where it's like, okay, we got a break from this stuff for a while. Now we're coming back with like Deadpool and Wolverine, and then we'll see how Agatha goes. But after that, we'll see. I mean, I do hope it's good stuff moving forward, though.
Me too, man. Me too. Because of what we got Captain America next, and then I think after that it's Fantastic Four. No, we got Agatha next, Captain
Thunderbolts.
America, and Thunderbolts. We also had a trailer, which was good. I thought that
Yeah, it was a good trailer. I like Ghost's new costume. I don't like Taskmaster's,
they showed
and I'm not.
Taskmaster.
They did. It was the one with the eyes that looked like Ghost.
Oh shit!
Yeah, if you go back, you'll like it. Or you'll see it. Uh, I I wish we could have had Stephen Yun as Bob, but we got the guy we got, so we'll see how that shakes out. Uh, yeah, I mean it looks like a fun time. I'm interested in that. I am now more nervous though that we're getting three major movie projects again next year. We still don't know what the hell's going on with Blade. Not because the projects all look good. I'm just I'm cautiously optimistic because this is the issue that people were complaining about before was quantity over quality.
I just hope we don't have any more shows with 6 episode runs. That's when I'm gonna be worried.
No more of that. No more 6 episodes. No more 8 episodes.
Oh,
You do
I
10. You
think
do
8 episodes can
12.
work. I think eight episodes can work. 6 episodes cannot.
I don't trust 8 anymore after
Bro, we got the
Acolyte.
boys. We got Invincible. If they know
That's
what
not
they're doing,
Disney.
but we also haven't seen Disney with 8.
I thought Falcon and Winter Soldier was 8. Was that 6?
That was 6. All of them have been 6.
No more 6s and no 8s either. Y'all can't do that right. Give us 10.
We don't even know if they can do 8. But ideally give us 10.
Give us 10. Daredevil is 18.
I think they cut that down with
No.
the rewrite.
No, it's 18. It's still 18. It's three arcs.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. They kept that part.
I could so okay. I could have sworn they said they were shortening it, but all right.
As far as I know, it's still the same.
I could have sworn they shortened to 13. And it's between like 10 and 13, but if it's 18, that's great. At least we eating. I'm not
Okay,
that.
yeah. It's a 9 episode first season in March and a second season confirmed after that.
Oh, 9
Okay, so
episodes.
I guess they cut it into 2 9 episode chunks.
Okay.
We're gonna
Nine's
do
an interesting odd number, but sure, why not?
yeah. Okay, so it's gonna be at least 2 seasons with probably 9 episodes each. Okay. So you're right, they did chop it and move it around, but cool. Anything else to say about Deadpool and Wolverine? I the opening is fucking fantastic.
That's a great opening.
Great
Great
opening.
opening. Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds were the best. Were the really
Oh,
greatest of characters. That monologue in the car was fucking great.
it was great.
You got nothing to say, mouth.
Mouth. My
Such an
favorite line
iconic
of the movie.
monologue already.
My favorite line of the movie was just earlier in that scene. He was like, "If you say one more word, one more fucking word," he's like, "gubernatorial," and I don't know why that should stay with me for like a week and a
What the
half.
fuck does that even mean?
Uh,
Like,
it means
what a word.
relating to a state governor or the office of state governor. It's just literally a random ass word.
That's so
Um,
funny.
the fights were dope. What do you think about the other Wolverine cameos? We didn't touch on those too.
Oh, they were great. You know what's funny? When the Henry Cavill one fully
The
got me,
cavalry.
the Calverine, because I thought it was going to be Duggery Scott, like the guy who was originally supposed to play
Oh yeah,
Wolverine.
yeah, yeah.
So
That
when
would have been cool.
when it was turned around and it was Cavill, I was actually surprised. I was like, oh fuck.
I was too because I didn't know people were fan casting Cavill like that. I saw Daniel Radcliffe was a big fan cast,
Yeah.
so I thought they might do him for Patch. But
Yeah, I've mostly heard Cavill and Taron Egerton on our side of the internet. I have not heard the
I've seen
Cavill
Taron
ones.
Egerton and Radcliffe. I haven't seen Cavill. I've probably seen Cavill here or there, but I'm like, no, that he's too fucking big. Like, no.
Exactly. Even watching him, like this thing is too big to be Wolverine.
Yeah, I'm like, nah. He's too. He doesn't have the. Because one of the things with Wolverine is like he's squanch. He's a brick shit house. Like actual Wolverine is 5'3", and I know people were like making jabs at the cannon height one. It's like, is that what you want? I'm like, yeah, because he's stocky. He's like 5'3" high, but wide as shit and all muscle. That's terrifying.
I agree.
But yeah, fun movie, fun time at the theater. Big recommend. Oh, where can the people find you at, man?
They can find my sleepy ass at The Real Rejects. You can also find me at Instagram and TikTok at The Real Aaron Alexander. I think it's REAL on Instagram and Film Real REEL on TikTok.
Okay, I'll make sure to tag them correctly. If you're looking for me, you can find me on Instagram at Will the Greatest. You can find me on YouTube at Will the Greatest. I'll have a new video coming at some time in the near future, hopefully. And you can find me on TikTok at Will.thegreatest. This has been the Ace Podcast. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, rate it 5 stars, share it with your friends. Tell them what's good in the hood. If you got questions, hashtag Ask Ace, and who knows, we'll talk about them on the show. All right, y'all be good. We're both going to bed. God damn it.